All right. What you been up to, man?
Oh, not much, man. Just I graduate, like I said in December, so I've just been trying to bust my rear end, getting everything done, and working on the house at night. So
Oh yeah.
staying, yeah, staying really busy. But I built a shed out back, um, with large help because we built so many cabins. I kind of like knew what to do.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So I built
What
the shed and then, huh?
you built a shed? Do you have any pictures of
Yeah,
this? Can I see this? You
yeah.
don't
Give
have
me.
to. You
I
don't
mean,
have
I
to.
can see it from this window.
Has Uncle Matt seen this shed? What is he? Does he approve?
It's not done, but that's it.
Oh, nice, man. That looks really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. What's going in there? Shed stuff.
Storage, yeah, tools, my bike, kayak, stuff like
Nice.
that.
Cool.
So, really, man, I've just been working like crazy just to make sure that graduation doesn't get postponed, and that's
Why,
about it.
why would it get postponed?
If I didn't make it on time,
Like every year? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, like every other year. Not like a. I have like 4 or 5 hard deadlines that I have to make by like the beginning or middle of November. And so if I don't make those, then it would have to be pushed out another semester, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I've been
Dang.
even working like the weekends and stuff.
Oh
So
man, that's crazy. So what do you have to do to get done? Do you have to just write like your dissertation or something? Or I thought you
I'm
already
writing
did
the
that.
dissertation, and that's like you do that along the way.
Okay.
Right now, I'm writing papers that will be published,
You're writing a
articles,
what?
papers
Okay. So what is it
that'll be
on? What is it
published.
about? You're like
So
that you're writing. Is it about
the
the
paper
robots?
I'm, yeah, it is about the robots.
Okay, nice. So how's
Yeah.
that going? Have you sent them up there yet?
No, I think actually, like seriously, at the end of my school, I anticipate them trying to send one to the
Really?
moon.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so
So
I
what are you
think,
gonna write about then? Is it just how they function or something?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
because all the work I've been doing, like
It's
it
kind
takes different phases and different steps to it, and so like I'll do a chunk and then I'll write a paper and publish
I
it,
kind
and
of
then I'll
like
do another chunk.
I kind of want you to write like a science fiction novel about the adventures of one of these robots.
Love to, man.
You
I would
should.
love to. I think
Just
I
submit
should.
just submit that for your
I heard, oh my gosh, what was it? I forgot who it was. It was some guy from some university, and he wrote a journal article because the way culture is kind of wacky now, and anybody can say anything.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wrote as a joke an article called like the penis is a figment of our collective imagination or something like that, talked about masculinity, and it got published in the health article journal.
Are
And
you
it was just
serious?
a joke. Yes, but oh my gosh, it was so funny. I read
That's
the
so
first half of it. It was so funny.
penis is a figment of our imagination.
It was something like that. I don't want to Google it.
So
I
I
get
do.
I get some stuff.
Speaking of building stuff, I do have something I could start this conversation off on. Do you know how to share
Yeah,
audio
please.
though? When they share screen?
No,
All right, well tell me
I
if
don't.
you
I've never done it.
have you seen that Shia LaBeouf is like Christian now or Catholic or whatever?
No, I
Oh,
saw that you
okay.
sent me something with Shia LaBeouf and John Bernthal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me
which is
see here. It's a clip from this, and I haven't finished all yet, but I just got to this part and I was like, I'm gonna pause this and wait till he get back.
all right.
So all right,
Let's
let me hit play and see if you can hear this.
okay. No, I
Can you
can't.
oh you can't. How do I share? I forgot how to share audio. Wait, here we go. Maybe it's at the top here. More share computer sound. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
All right. So
It says share screen, and then there's a button that says share sound. Yeah, that should be
all
it.
right. So this should be it right here. So
Voices. How do you feel?
Yep.
What are you looking for? What's your interest? Do you have a plan? Do you have desires? Do you have like
Nope.
so tell me. So like what's
Yeah,
your relationship to it now?
I'm not just saying this because it sounds good. Like I'm on my professional good guy. Like all I care about is my purpose. I don't, I don't really think about craft much. When it pops up, and really the only guys that can work with a guy like me are dudes at a certain level, because they're gonna have to talk to a marketing department about why
All right, I'm not sure if this is the part. It's coming up right
they
after
just
this,
hired
though.
an atomic bomb
No, it's fine.
to come work on their movie. Why? And the only dudes who can really make that kind of shit happen are guys who are very far and few between.
Right.
But I'm also not in this jobbing mode. You know what I mean? I was talking to my dude the other day. Like, something really sexy about working at Home Depot. My head goes there before it goes to like, let me go work on some movie where I'm playing a Romanian vampire lawyer. You know what I mean?
You think you could work at Home Depot?
Yeah.
You think you have the skills for it?
1000%.
But you think you understand the
Yeah.
inventory of Home Depot?
I spend so much time in Home Depot, dog.
Do you?
Yeah, that's a church for me.
Yeah.
Home Depot
Are you
is
building a lot? Are you working with your hands?
I'm in Home Depot all the time.
Okay, so you feel like
I love
you
Home
have
Depot.
What's another job you feel like you could do that would both serve you and your mission? You feel like you'd be good at?
Oh, just any kind of like regular shit, like regular like.
Do you think you could work in a kitchen?
No,
No, because you're not good.
No, well, that's another kind of
okay.
That's another kind of crafty job
Right,
where
right,
like
you
the
go-
impetus is on the poetry of you.
Right,
Then I'm
right.
fucking lost again.
Right.
I'm talking about something where the poetry of me doesn't matter one fucking iota.
Right.
I need something like I'm looking at jobs that don't cultivate your poetry and your uniqueness. I'm looking for jobs that keep me humble. And I think working at Home Depot Home Depot is full of possibilities.
So in the
That's the line right there.
Home Depot is full of possibilities.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like this rant about Home Depot. I was like, man, who doesn't
I
love
like
Home
that.
I'm more like Lowe's, I'm more of a Lowe's fan, but
I'm more of a Lowe's guy as well.
But
to
yeah,
be
who
honest.
doesn't? And that line at the end, Home Depot is full of possibilities. I was just like, that's it. That's why every guy can stay there forever, because it's like the divine feminine. It's just like all the potentiality in the world is right in
It's
one.
nothing but potentiality, yeah.
Yeah,
And all it needs is the masculine hand to come and make something beautiful out of it.
exactly. I like how he called it his church. Anyway, so we don't have to go there. I just thought I'd share that.
No,
Since
that's funny.
since you
that's
just
funny.
built a shed and everything, working
No,
on your house.
I think that's great. I think Home Depot is a good picture of the divine feminine. Yeah, it's a weird thing though, because I mean, I'm not trying to go down this rabbit hole. My first thought when we watched that was, you often see the celebrity class get to a point where they've peaked or whatever, and then they kind of devolve into intentional normalcy, if that makes sense. So I think of like the clotheslines that come out, or I don't know, I've seen pictures of Justin Bieber recently, and he looks like a homeless guy, right? Or like the intentional normality and plainness. I think that's a very interesting phenomenon. Or like somebody like Shia LaBeouf, who looks old, by the way, getting wealthy and then saying, Home Depot is the place for me. That's a weird arc that they tend to take.
Yeah.
Well, but it
if you-
happens.
if you listen to that whole thing, it's super long, but I don't even know what's going on. I had no idea there was like a scandal with them or something, but apparently like there was a lot going on. He basically said he hit rock bottom and was going to kill himself. And then I guess he joined the Catholic Church now. I guess there's a movie coming out where he's playing a Catholic priest, but it's actually a really, really cool interview. And there's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things you wonder, though, you're kind of like, man, I hope it sticks, but and you just never know too, though, like, because I guess when somebody, even like, I believe it's real probably, and you had a real conversion and everything, but then now there's probably so many people just pulling at him left and right to get his story and his testimony. It's like the church is gonna just rip him apart, man.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure.
Like he's already
because I never tend to doubt the authenticity of those people's hearts, but when you're a public figure, you've got 10,000 people giving you their opinion, and you've got future employers telling you their opinion, and I'm sure that's a lot harder.
Yeah, he's already been on like Bishop Barron and stuff, talking to him, and so it's just like, man, he should probably just be hiding in a hole in the ground for a little while, I would think. But I guess he maybe did already
I
because
think so.
I think he was in rehab for like 9 months or something. So I don't know.
Gotcha. Oh, well, good for him. I hope that sticks. That would be cool. It's cool to see someone publicly like that, kind of,
Yeah,
give
yeah.
their opinion, and
But out of
especially
the
someone
whole,
who looks to have it all figured out, right? Like a movie star is the ideal in America. Like, have it made. Your job seems relatively easy. You've got loads of money.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so like that end up coming to Orthodox religion because it just scratches that itch that nothing
yeah,
can.
yeah. It's crazy how uh how crazy they actually live. Like you think some of it, you start listening to his testimony, you're like, man, I thought that was just always like overblown or something. Where they'll talk about like I don't know, just like hanging out with criminals and stuff like that, doing drugs, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
ah,
yeah.
I guess that really is.
And I know part of it is like because I am a believer and because I do have the Holy Spirit in me, but living a life like that is so it's not even just spiritually draining. I know you know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah,
having a harboring a life that is not good, it weighs really heavy on me. Everything changes. My outlook on life changes. The amount of sleep I get changes. I stop eating well. I stop caring about things. And so I can only imagine living a life like that day in
yeah,
day out due to my psyche. I'd be so messed up.
yeah, yeah.
Me
If you're
personally, right?
Yeah, same here. Like if my focus was just on material things, like then you just become the bottomless pit yourself, You'd just be
You
insatiable all
would.
the time. Yeah.
You would.
You just you'd never be able to
You would become the bottomless pit, and you would
Yeah.
hate everything that you saw all the
Yeah.
time.
I think because that's what everybody says, right? They like have a hole they can't fill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So what does it mean to then go down into the bottomless pit
Dude, I don't know.
if you are a
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the wrong metaphor to use then too. If you are actually the bottomless pit, I don't know. Maybe something like a black hole might be a better metaphor. I don't know. Just kind of consuming, but yeah, I'm not sure. I was actually like thinking about that earlier, which is I don't think it's a profound thought, but just something like when you get something and you're like,
genuine thing.
man, I just gotta like hold it in my brain. Like it feels like it's probably not profound, but it's like profound for you at the moment, and you're just
That's
like, I
like
need.
most of my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just thinking about like, how we always say Christ is the foundation of everything and stuff like that. And then I was just thinking how that means he's the rock bottom. And then thinking in comparison with that to the bottomless pit. Like it's nice. It's actually nice that we have a rock bottom that we can hit because it's like
Yeah.
we're not just continually falling. Like eventually you'll hit this rock bottom, and it's like that's Christ where you can find him. Because he's the bedrock
That's
of
cool.
everything.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, the part about the bottomless pit that's terrifying is because it's eternally bottomless,
yeah.
right? And on the other side of that coin, you would say that Christ. I think about it actually in layers, right? Like you go all the way down to this bottomless or to the rock solid foundation,
Yeah.
and that foundation has been there, it was there, and it will be there, so it goes eternally deep. Like
Yeah.
that's never going to shake. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
in the same way that the bottomless pit is eternally bottomless. I've had that thought before about the foundation, God being the foundation.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's good. Huh.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's cool. But that's most of my thoughts, man. I tend to have things pop in my head. I've just been so busy. I like sometimes I write things down and try to come back to them. Most of the time, I just bounce them off of you or somebody else.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I'll get sometimes something will pop in my head. I'll be reading the scripture. I'm like, this is the biggest thing ever. And then I tell someone else, it just falls so flat. And I'm like, and then you realize, like, you think back months later or something. You're like, this was just for me in the moment. Like it really wasn't that big of a deal. And then it'll come back around again, and you'll get hit with it again. You're like, this is the biggest revelation ever.
Yeah.
And you forgot, like you knew it a month ago or something.
Yes. It's especially funny too. I don't remember what it was, but this happened to me recently where I had a thought and I thought, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm going to write it down. And I came back to it about a month later and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is just heresy. I just scrapped it. I don't even remember what it was, but it was so far off base. So I think it's good to let yourself ruminate on ideas
So
like
good.
that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 It's like
I
proofreading. So
agree.
like with these papers that I'm writing, the best way I know to do it is to, and part of it's listening. Jordan Peterson says some stuff about like this, where he talks about the way he wrote his books and how he has every word mean something and every word be like incredibly intentional. And I don't care. I'm just trying to get these papers out. But for quality, I take a step away for like a week and I'll work on something else, and then I'll come back with a fresh set of eyes and review the same stuff that I had, and suddenly I see it all differently. And that's kind of a weird phenomenon, but that's the best way I know to write. And so that's the best way I know to kind of test the validity of some of my ideas too. It's like if I have an opinion about the Bible and it seems kind of weird, I'll make a note of it and write it down or something, and then I need to come back to it a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Do you think do you find that in doing that you might be in a certain mood when you come back? Like you could come back one week and it seems really good, then you come back the next week it's bad, then the next week and it's good again or something? Like your writing style or something? Or maybe not necessarily the topic or the idea,
Well,
but maybe
see,
the
as I was saying that, because it's not like I intellectually grew a lot between last week and this week, so that I have all this new, uh, armor, or all of this new information that I'm coming at this problem with. And with the biblical idea, it's not like I had this idea a week ago and now I'm visiting it now. And I've grown so much over this week that I now see that this original idea I had was super off base. I don't know. Maybe it's mood. Maybe I don't know.
I guess the reason I ask is I mean I mentioned you before. I've tried writing stuff before, and sometimes I'll go back a week later and I'm like, this is just terrible. And I go look
Oh
at it and
yeah,
I'm like,
I've
this is
definitely
awful.
done that.
And then sometimes I'll even leave it alone because I won't know what to do with it. I'm like, this is awful, but like I don't know how to tweak it yet or change it. And I'm
Yeah.
not really willing to throw it out. Then I'll come back like a month later and then I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad as I thought. And so it's like I just don't know if it's like a mood I'm in or something, or why it's
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it is a mood, because sometimes you actually do just feel, like almost divinely inspired, right? Depending
yeah.
on if you're writing down ideas, or I guess in your case you're working on your book or something. Sometimes it just seems to flow, and it's probably that. I know it's that way with my friends that are artists full time. They'll get into kind of a mood, or there will be a day where they wake up and they just can create all day, and it's
Yeah.
like the best stuff they've done. And I don't know. I don't know what that comes from. I don't know why. But I know the phenomenon that you're talking about. I would assume
Yeah.
it's mood, maybe.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Neither do I. How's your book coming?
I was gonna say something. I can't remember now. Not really that good. It's like it's always
Oh,
hit or
really?
miss, and then it's like I find it a lot easier to write, like 100 times easier to write if I just write from first person. And I don't know if I should just switch over to doing that. Because I don't know. I can ask your opinion on this too. So do you think reading something written from first person, do you like that better? Is that more relatable? I almost feel like I'm being more honest because it's almost like
Yeah.
I'm writing in like a trying to write kind of in like a fantasy structure with like using symbols and stuff. But I'm trying to write honestly, like almost like I would write a journal or something, so and I sometimes I try to I'd like to play with the imagination more and like try to imagine stuff and bring in things from like out there and not write just from experience. But when I've tried doing that, it seems like I come back to that stuff and I almost find it like a little cheesy or something. Even if I'm trying to play with like symbolism that I know means something.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, back to the question. Do you think like fantasy style reading? Do you like that, or would you like something like Lord of the Rings with a bunch of different characters?
I think first person's better.
I tend to, yeah, I don't know why. I'm kind of the same way, but then I don't know.
Unless it's like you're a teenage girl or something, and you have like zero context.
Well, everybody loves the Lord of the Rings as far as I know, and everybody can relate to different characters, and so I'm like,
Mm,
I don't really know. I don't know what to think of it. I I think I like. I mean, I've never read Lord of the Rings, to be
have you
honest.
not?
No, I've started it, but um, I don't know, man. I haven't read very much. I just got to be in the mood when I read something too. And
Gotcha.
the only author I've really opened up their work and it just pulled me in has been George MacDonald. I
Yeah.
think Lord of the Rings did that a little bit, but I think I just wasn't in the right mood at the time. So I should probably go back to it. But
Gotcha. I think you should. I'd encourage you to. I
do
read
you?
those in college, and I
Oh,
thought they were
really?
awesome. Yeah,
Nice.
I thought they were great.
So who'd you relate to?
But
Which character would you be?
everybody wants to be Aragorn because he's the coolest guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you want to be him? I'm just going
Well,
off the
I mean,
movies, and I'm
obviously he's the coolest character.
is he?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know.
God, who do I relate to?
I thought
I
Legolas
don't
was the
know if I.
coolest
I
character.
think that's. I think well, Legolas is cool. I think part of what makes third person so appealing in the Lord of the Rings is you can identify with different parts of different characters. So you're not putting the constraint of I in the story. Because it's like I as a person can see Aragorn and think he's the coolest character or something like that. And I can also identify with some of the struggles that Frodo has in overcoming this challenge. And I can relate to some parts of Sam in terms of seeing somebody struggle, and so I think part of the secret that third person, or part of the advantage that third person gives you is you're not restricting your identification with a single person. Like you can see resemblances in yourself in a slew of different characters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's just hard for me to write from that though. I don't know. It's been pretty difficult. But
Yeah, I say
I don't
do
know.
first person, man. Anything that would make the work more honest. I think.
Well, I've been writing. What I've been trying to do is write first person and then go back and tweak it and put it into third
Gotcha.
person. But then I'm like, well, I gotta. The other thing too is like all these characters are they are kind of like aspects of yourself in a way, and so then you got to figure out if I'm trying to be honest with it too. I'm trying to be honest with each character. Then I got to figure out which one is which. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I think it's this character, and then I'll think about it more, and I'm like, no, that's actually what this other character. I have two that are very similar.
I was gonna say the last time you told me about it was way early on in this process. So if
Yeah.
you want to like give me a little bit of background, that'd be helpful.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just started writing. It was really. I mean, I don't even really have a clear. I thought I kind of had a beginning and an end, what I wanted to do with it, and I kind of do, but I don't know that I'd ever actually reach the end because I had no idea how to tie it in. Um, and
What's
this,
your ending?
well, and basically, I think I kind of wanted to play with that idea of just redemption and how far it reaches and stuff. But then the weird thing too is like I think George MacDonald already does that in Lilith. That book is just so incredibly profound. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what I want to do necessarily. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just been sort of a fun exploratory process. It kind of all started when I think Craig was mentioning he brought up to me finding different characters and stuff like that. And then I had already had this idea for these two characters, but I don't know if they were part of. They're actually not characters I would see in myself, but it's weird because they're kind of relatable. And it was just, I thought it would be fun to have some sort of comedy TV show of a Minotaur and a Satyr, and they like live in a city or something, like in New York City. And like I was like,
That
this
would
would just
be
be a fun.
great.
And yeah, so I had these two characters, the Minotaur and the Satyr, like kind of in the back of my mind. And then so they kind of like appear every once in a while, but they're always just like random. Like they'll just like show up at a bar and have some dialogue or something. And so,
Gotcha.
but yeah. Uh, and
That's
it's
fun. I
yeah.
love that.
So those yeah. So it's just kind of like finding these different characters is kind of fun. I don't know. It's just been a weird exploratory process, but I haven't made much progress on it. Not nearly as much as I'd like to.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, though, back to the original question: what Lord of the Rings character would you be? Aragorn?
What Lord of the Rings character would you be?
I could probably say I would probably be Frodo. That's the one I just feel like, because I'm so
I have.
emo
That's me
and I'm
too.
just I'm just like,
You're kind of weepy.
woe is me, the burden of this little tiny ring I have to carry around. It's so
If
heavy.
the first time I saw those movies, I certainly didn't think about it in terms of symbolism at all.
I
And
didn't
so,
either, yeah.
I mean, like, he crosses the most babyish, like, helpless little character that's ever,
Yeah.
you know, and then,
He probably is my favorite at this point because I think I find him the most relatable, that I related to him the most. But I think Sam is probably the strongest character, honestly.
I think so. I think so. But yeah, I think I'd probably find myself in Frodo as well. But who doesn't find themselves in Frodo though?
I mean, I don't know.
Because he's got the arc of like, you know, not in your but in your lap, you have to carry this struggle over to the mountain and destroy it so that's gone forever. Like that's everybody. Everybody
Is it?
feels like that.
Do
I think
they?
so.
I don't know that they do. I mean, I don't know. I listen. So there's this podcast called Amen Soul, and
Okay.
I listen to it every once in a while. But it's basically these. I think they're Orthodox priests, and they just love the Lord of the Rings, or it's one. And so it's just
Okay.
about Lord of the Rings.
That's
And
cool.
but he'll have people on. He'll always ask that question: which character would you be? And a lot of people say Faramir. Like I think a lot of people say that.
I don't know that much.
Like I don't know that I've heard anybody say Frodo yet, but most people say Faramir.
Really?
Yeah. I'd probably be Boromir actually. I'd try to kill that little
Just
hobbit.
die
Get
immediately.
the ring. Give me that ring. I did it.
I thought you was cool. I don't know that much about Faramir. I
Trying to
recognize. I mean, like I know the character and I know the actor. What did they say about him?
I don't remember because I've never read the books. I heard he's completely different in the books than in the movies. So
Different in the books. I remember that.
speaking of Lord of the Rings, though, the show starts tonight in an hour. I think actually, yeah.
It does.
I'm actually super excited about it. The new Game of Thrones. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but I have not been impressed.
Tolkien himself even said Faramir's like him.
Really?
He did.
Wow.
According to Tolkien, Faramir was modest, fair-minded, and very just and very merciful. He mentioned once that he did not invent Faramir, though he likes the character very much. As a soldier in World War I, Tolkien connected himself with Faramir, who only loved swords for which they defend. Among the characters, Tolkien wrote, "As far as any of my characters is like me, is Faramir."
Huh.
That's interesting. So maybe he's a good one to say that you're like.
Yeah.
You only love the sword for what it can defend. That's kind of a cool concept. I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah, I just don't know enough about it. But I would say go with the first person, write it personally, and then if you change it, switch to it.
Okay. Yeah, I might do that. It's hard because I want I've already kind of I don't want to say invented, but there's these female characters which I guess I mean I would think would be real. There's real aspects to them. So I don't really want to do it away with those at all, and I'm not quite sure how to incorporate them in a first person way. I mean I guess I am, but I'm not quite sure to maybe how to make them relatable to other people. It's kind of like it would be something if I just did it from first person. It'd probably end up being something kind of like Fantasties, where you have these different feminine characters. Like he's got this white lady he's chasing after. Then he runs into the what is it? The ash or I can't remember, or the alder. I can't remember which one it is. No, well, there's the birch tree. Yeah, the birch tree as well is like a good one. But then there's the evil one.
Oh yeah, he runs into the ash.
So there's like all these different feminine characters he's encountering. So it'd probably end up being something like that. And I don't know that those, like, I don't know if people reading, even girls reading the books, technically identify with any of those characters because they're just kind of like wispy, feminine.
Well, what are your attributes? Because you said there's 2 female characters that both have.
Well, there's probably more than that. I don't know how much I want to share either. Like I would share more with you. I don't know how much I want to share like recorded wise, I guess, but
that's fine.
Yeah. But I'd share more with you in private for sure. I'd like to actually go through at some point and maybe lay out.
Yeah, in private, I would love to actually hear about it.
Yeah, I'd like to meet with Chris
That'd be
actually too. I've talked to him about this, but he's just been so busy. But I wanted to actually pay him to draw the characters for me because I
That
thought,
would be awesome.
yeah, at first I was really hesitant because I was like, I don't know if images would be bad because I think I want to push the limits of my imagination even farther and not really give myself an image to fall back on or to get locked into even, you
Right.
know?
Right.
But then he said, I talked to him about it and about that whole concept, and he said that he's found images to actually be helpful when you're dealing with characters and stuff because you can kind of, I don't know, like I guess it kind of gives you another little spark of inspiration to figure out how to
And it might
place
be
them.
different for different people because I would have always assumed like it's gosh, let me think.
Well, I think
It's
some of
like
it,
watching Lord of the Rings versus reading, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I had a much different image. I saw the movie first, but I went to the book picturing like the actors, right?
mhm, yeah, yeah,
Picturing like Sean Penn, or
yeah.
not Sean Penn,
Sean Penn.
Sean Bean, and picturing you know those faces and the landscapes, and
Yeah.
so I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, yeah. But then I wonder, like, it's probably, I think Tolkien actually drew a lot of stuff. I don't know if he drew characters though. And even Carl Jung talks about drawing characters.
As he,
Like yeah, he'll talk about I think he talks about that in the imagination. He actually drew pictures, and like William Blake, the poet, drew painted stuff all the time. I mean, even that like weird art book I did with the, all the Bible characters, like even that,
yeah,
doing that, I think that was actually, like looking back now, I think that was like some weird sort of like process. Because I haven't like touched any painting since then. Like I literally, it was like, did the last one, close the book, it was done. And it was just almost this weird process of like kind of uh almost like a revelatory process in a way. I don't know. Like it was helping me
yeah,
think
yeah,
through by getting it on in pictures and images. So it probably would be helpful. And I've tried to draw the characters, but it just never works. It doesn't work the same. I don't know.
yeah.
And I like Chris's
It's
work.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's like two completely different forms of showing a character. One is like in words, and one is in photos or in a picture. Because I'm trying to see where Chris is coming from.
Yeah.
And like when you're writing a character, you kind of have the thought process of, oh, this character can go anywhere. I can put any words down. My character can do whatever. And maybe it's kind of the same with the visual arts. When you're doing a photo, it actually opens up more doors than closes them. Is
Yeah.
that kind of like what you're like,
Yeah, I think
opens more
so.
creative doors? Like as you're creating your, it almost like it stretches your imagination even more than had there been no picture at all. Like is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's hard to say because like even some of the characters now, like they have colors associated with them, So I don't
Right.
necessarily need an image to have the colors with them, but maybe
Right.
getting that, it becomes a little bit more lively or something when you get it on paper with I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not sure
Characters
how it
can also
works.
be drawn in a way that they're vague enough to where it's not really nailed down, but you kind of get an idea of the form or what you're trying to convey. So I'm thinking of like the cover of Fantastics, for example. There's like random faces and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like enough to know that, oh, there's probably a character of a tree in here, but it that cover in no way affected the way that I read the story,
Yeah.
because that cover was wacky and weird and formless in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's another thing to struggle with too, like even with writing it or that sort of thing. Is like how much do you want to leave for the reader's imagination? Like being intentional that way. Because even like I was, for some reason, I don't know why, I just thought about that last night actually. It might have been right before I went to bed or I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thinking about if you were to write and be very descriptive about like you came to this tree and then the tree's roots like grew up and like wrapped around you and like pulled you down or something. I'm like, that to me almost, like I feel like to write it without doing that would almost be feels better to me. Like if I
yeah,
get
it does.
if I get someone to say like, and I sat down to the tree and they drug me down. and just leave it at that.
Right.
And then it's like, then it's just left to the reader's just imagination. They can, but if I go into all these details, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to get at because then George McDonald does it away, but the details he gets into are just like, God, it's just it's they're not it's not really like particular details where he's breaking everything's
Right.
apart. It's like poetic details. Like I remember he was talking
Right.
about somebody's eyes, and he says their eyes were like uh a burnt sacrifice on hard granite or something like that. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, how could you? I'm just like, man, to describe someone's eyes like that, I wish I just had come up with that idea. Like, and someone's eyes like granite, just
That's
man.
really good.
Yeah. Have you finished that book, by the way?
No, I've still got a couple chapters left.
Okay.
I didn't know if we were going to continue, and so I kind of wanted to read it with it.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
If possible.
we could always. I got. Let's see. I got 2 chapters left. Right there. Let
Okay.
me see if I can just find that part though, really quick.
Yeah, please do.
'Cause
But
I'm
even
sure you're
his-
close to it.
I am close. Even his specific details, though. So I'm thinking back to that entire chapter towards the beginning, where he's talking about the fairies just dancing and partying and kind of causing a ruckus, right? Even all of his very specific individual details, he's not describing the entire picture. Like he's kind of vaguely painting an idea or a scene for you with little details, and then letting you fill in the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I mean, I would love to just figure out how to write like that more, man. It's just, it's weird. It's like it does like the few times I feel like I've gotten better at doing something like that. It's almost like this weird sort of, I don't want to say a flow state, but you're just like, it kind of feels that way. Like things feel more
Mhm.
fluid. Like you're not being particular in your writing. You're not like dicing things up by giving all these details. It's just like, it's describing things in poetic imagery or something.
But I would argue that you're being way more particular. So, like, option A is I sat down in the tree, asleep, and the tree's roots grew around me to the point where I couldn't get free, and it slowly started to bring me down. Or B, I sat down in the tree, and the tree hugged me and swallowed me up. Like, one of those is more concise, and I would argue like the second is even more particular, because when you're giving that much detail, I don't know, when you give that much detail, it's kind of like putting a picture. In my head, this is the way it works. It's kind of like putting a picture to words, where if you put a picture, you're almost restricting the entire scene to whatever you can see in that photo. So if you were to give me a lot of detail about a tree swallowing you up, I would think this is it. This is all the detail that there is. But if you give me sort of a poetic, the tree swallowed me whole, I can read even more than what you put into all the details. Does
Yeah,
that
it's
make
so
sense?
yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's so interesting
And
how
so in a way, it's more particular.
yeah, because it's more universal. It has
It
more
is.
application. Yeah, it's so interesting how the Bible does this all the time. It's
I
just
was gonna say
absolute-
it's just like the Bible,
yeah, like
right?
the
That's
Genesis
the
story,
entire Bible.
especially chapter 3, like with the garden stuff. It's like it is all the time happening. Like it's so yeah, I get what you mean. Like it's more applicable. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the part though that
Yeah,
I'll just
read
read it real quick. It says, "The whole face grew stern and determined, all but fierce. Only the eyes burned on, only the eyes burned on like a holy sacrifice, uplift on a granite rock." I'm just like, to
I
describe
love
eyes,
that.
like that. Only the eyes went on like a burnt sacrifice, uplift on a granite rock. I'm just like, man.
That is
Just-
such a good description. And
just-
like honestly, I don't even know what it means, but I can see it in my head, and
Yeah.
it's super vivid, right?
And you can just picture someone's face growing stern, but you can just see their eyes like
Yeah.
so dead serious, and there's like his
Yeah.
eyes like flame of fire, like the Bible
Yes.
describes too. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And like we're talking, I don't know, you have probably a better idea than I do, but I'm talking as like just a guy that has read a fair amount of stuff. You know, I'm not some like literary genius or whatever. There are like
God,
way more people more qualified than I am.
I haven't even read Lord of the Rings.
but,
Look
like-
at me.
But but you know, as you were talking about, the way George MacDonald writes. Gosh, I mean, like the only thing I was thinking was, well, what's the best example of that I can think of? And it's just the Bible. And
Yeah.
again, I was thinking Genesis. The Genesis story is probably the best literary work I think I've ever read. I thought that the other day too,
Yeah, I
in
would
the way
agree.
that it's written, in the way that it stokes your imagination, in the way that it talks. And it has messages on multiple levels, different levels of hierarchy, different levels of resolution. Like read it at a macro scale, read it at a micro scale. You're getting sort of different aspects of the same photo. Like what else does that? You know, what other book does that?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting though, because I also wonder about that too. Like, I wonder if the Bible does that because how much I reverence it. Because like the more I actually read fantasies, like this is probably like I've read it literally 4 times in that 1 year. I think this is the only time I've read it this year. We've just gone through it so slow. This is probably my 5th time being through it, maybe. Um, but it literally almost every aspect of that book I find I've I can relate to or I've actually lived. Like
Mm,
it's really strange. But it's like and I don't know if it's just because I've read it so much that it's like I start to see it speaking on this poetic level or something, or and then sometimes like yeah, I think that's why it resonated so much with me at first because there were certain chapters in it where I was like, oh dang, this is hitting home. But then
yeah.
now there's even other ones where like they didn't register at first and I'm like, oh okay, now I like actually see what this is and I see how this like is actually applicable to my own life in this way. Trying to think of an example. I'm not sure where you're at exactly. I don't know. What's been your favorite chapter so far, by the way? So can I ask you that?
Yeah. 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 Let me think. I haven't really thought about that.
We're gonna get into spoilers, but that's okay. If you're okay with it.
Oh, mine's early. I think the one that still stands out to me most is when he first interacts with the birch tree and that whole scene of him. There's like some rabbit that walks up to him, remember? And it was super weird. And he has that line about, and it was like weirdly curious, but I learned that everything's curious and I got used to being amazed or something like that. Do you remember that line?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Uh,
every. Hmm. And he does something with the rabbit too, doesn't he? Like he pets it, and I think when he tries to pick it up, it kicks away or something. I don't know.
weird like that. And then the whole scene with the birch tree. For some reason, that whole section really stands out.
Was that the part where, like, right before he gets to the birch tree, though, doesn't he get chased through the woods by this like haunting presence?
He does,
Yeah, and
yeah.
like, who hasn't experienced that, man?
I know, I know. Well,
Like,
so
if
it's
you've gone
like,
into the woods at night, you probably, or even like being a kid walking down a long hallway, it's like that creature's gonna get you, man.
right. Well,
It's
yeah, I
just
mean,
there.
even in adulthood too. Not
Yeah,
even like a physical, not even a physical thing chasing. You know what it means, like
yeah.
symbolically, the thing chasing you at night. You look up, you see a form, you don't know what it is, but it's scary,
It's
and you
like
have to
this.
run to the tree that's deeply rooted. You know, it's always been there. I don't know that whole scene, and then yeah, that chapter. I think for some reason that line, just about him being, gosh, it's in the car, or I would go get it, but it's the line about like, and it was a curious thing, but I have gotten used to curious things in fairyland, and so
Oh, let me find it. My
yeah,
goodness
gosh,
gracious,
that's
this
such a
is
good.
like something. There's like thread and string going everywhere here. What is happening? Ah, good lord, get off me. I got it right here. Let me find it. Do you know what chapter it was? Any chance?
No, I'm trying to look it up.
It wasn't. It was pretty early on. I remember. Got some
It's like
feathers.
5 or 6.
Got some goose feathers in my book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I found them out when I was walking. There's always geese out there. Dude, there's like so there's a blue heron that's all out there occasionally too. And then I just recently saw the other day I was watching King Out, and it felt like one of those weird things where I'm like, you're either looking too much into stuff and just getting weird and mystical. But I was like, just like walking, and I'm like having this things are clicking in my head, and I look over and there's this white crane there, and I was just like, Oh, that's gotta be a sign. Like, I'd never seen it before there, and I'm just like I think I've seen it once since there, and I'm like,
Oh, that's cool.
whether it is or isn't, I'm taking it, man. I'm gonna be some weird
I
mystic
think
and
it's
take
a
this.
sign.
I don't even know what it means. There is a whole story about the white crane though, that's in I think it's like a Japanese story or something like that. I'm not sure I understand it exactly though. Do we know what chapter it is? Let's see. Chapter 4.
4 or 5, probably.
Peculiar light. Look at that's there's glowworms in that one. But there is no use trying to account for things in fairyland, and one who travels there soon learns to forget the very idea of doing so and takes everything as it comes, like a child who, being in a chronic condition of wonder, is surprised at nothing. Was that it?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. I had it highlighted.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Gosh, that's just something that I think the things that stick out to me, and this is my first reading too, but the things that stick out to me are the ones that apply to me the most. And personally, I think if I were to characterize my walk with God over the past several years, the times when it's the best is in a state of wonder. And so I would love nothing better to wander through my entire rest of life, like in a constant state of awe. That's like when I personally am the most joy filled, and when you're just like in awe. So that's been a prayer in my heart for my own life for years and years and years. So
probably. Do you think that accompanies spirit of gratitude, or no?
What way?
Like
give me an example.
Well, because I mean, like you could walk outside. Two people could walk outside, and one could see a beautiful day, and the other one could be like, "Damn, it's so hot out." Like I mean,
I think so.
And someone could be like,
I think I would think the spirit of gratitude is a byproduct of that sense of awe, rather than like the sense of awe being because of the gratitude. Because I think gratitude in and of itself is only like half the story.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
but I think it certainly does come from it. So
the magical place, man. You just get outdoors.
Yeah, it is the magical place.
People need to do it some more. I was out walking the other day, and I was like, "That's what I mean. Just stuff happens, and you're just like." I remember walking, and I was like trying to write in my phone. I don't know if I should share this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And so, like, because sometimes, sometimes stuff just happens. You're like, man, I just want to keep that just for me and God, and just keep it secret. But so I'm literally out walking, and this is the weird part. Like, I'm just trying to describe this rain because I was just trying to. Sorry, did you hear that ding? Trey's texting me right now. Sorry, it's probably.
Oh, my phone was going off too earlier. I thought it was yours. So.
Oh wait, Mitch said. Wait, what is he asking me about this for? I don't know. Anyway, so I thought he might join in, but so I was walking and I was trying to I think I was trying to go back and maybe write an addition to this other part that I was trying to write of the story. And I was trying to just describe this rain. And I was like, the rain wasn't cold. It was basically, I was just trying to describe a rain that was going to get this character out from outdoors into like this area, into the bar area where the satyr and the minotaur were going to like talk or whatever. Because I was going to have this, because I needed someone to hear the conversation. I was saying this, it wasn't like a cold freezing rain that was going to get him out there, but it was just like a really hard rain. And so I would put something like, it wasn't cold, but I was like, the rain came down and it was basically like, but it was the wind picked up and it stung like needles, or something. Like the wind threw it down hard and to where the rain actually started stinging. So I write that literally, then like, no joke, 10 minutes later, this black storm cloud starts rolling in, and then out in front of me, like because I'm out at a tree farm, right? And all of a sudden, like all the dust there just started to pick up. It's like this dust storm is like rolling straight towards me. And I was just like, and I stopped and filmed it. I could get the text for you. I filmed a little clip and just texted it to Mitch, and I was like, "This seems like an omen or something like that." And so I just kept walking, and I was like, and part of me wanted to leave because I could hear thunder too, and I was like, "God, I've been caught out in so many like lightning storms out there. It's terrifying. Like, where it's literally terrifying. I think I'm gonna die."
Yeah.
And but I was like, "No, I'm just gonna walk. Maybe it won't lightning this time. I hear thunder, but it might be good." And so, but then I remember thinking like, as soon as I started to walk into the dust, it was like blowing on me. I was like, yeah, this is what fairy stores are made of. Like, I'm gonna look back on this or something. But I literally, so I walk through the dust and I make kind of my loop. I go around right next to the river and I start coming back. And then I got to walk through this big open like plain area where they usually plant other stuff before it kind of comes back up and I can loop around again. Um, and so I start walking there, then it starts to rain a little bit. And then all of a sudden, dude, the wind comes in and I didn't have a shirt on. And literally, I've never felt rain sting like that. It literally felt
Really?
straight up word for word what I had just written. Like it felt like needles where I was literally yelling. I was like,
Whoa.
God, what the heck? Like just it hurt so bad. Like I thought at one point it was
Whoa.
like at one point I thought it was hailing. Like and I had to check because I was like, man, this hurts so bad. 'Cause it was just straight blowing in from the side and just
Oh
flinging
my
these.
gosh.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was
I've
just
never felt rain like that before. What a weird thing, man.
yeah, and I haven't either. And it was right after I wrote it down too. It was really strange. And I was like, okay, well now I know what this feels like. And it
So, well,
definitely
okay, so after feeling it, did you feel like you needed to change your description, or did you think it
yeah,
was
definitely. Yeah.
you
Because
changed
it
your
was
description?
the rain I felt was harder. It was harder and stung more than I had written down. Like it literally felt like someone was like hitting you with needles or something. Like it literally
That's
felt like that.
crazy.
Yeah, it stung really bad, man.
Do
And
you
I was just
remember
out
what you
there.
changed it to?
No, I don't know if I've gone back yet and changed it, but I'm
Oh, gotcha.
definitely gonna change it. Yeah. But it was just it hurt, man. It hurt. But it's one of those things, like unless you're out there and unless you stick out there and stay in it, it's like you don't actually get that experience. Even though it kind of
Right,
sucks, it's like, God, it's so worth it. I don't know.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a story straight out of Fairyland, too.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
writing your book, and then the storm you wrote about comes to life, and you feel what you were trying to write, and now you can do it better. Like
Yeah, I don't even know if I could
you're
get it.
walking in Fairyland right
I don't know if I could do it justice. But then too, like right after that, as soon as it let up too, it was just like, man, uh, I can't even describe the feeling I get sometimes being out there. And right after the rain let up, it's just like you feel like you're baptized or something. Like you're just washed
now.
clean,
Mm.
soaking wet, and then like everything's just got saturated in this peace. And I'm just like, have you seen The Green Knight yet? Have you watched it?
Oh, I
Oh,
need to. I'm on your voodoo finally. I'm
but
sorry,
you're
man.
like,
I've been so busy.
no, that's fine. But you're just like, man, it's like you're in there's this part line they use. Well, he's trying to go to the Green Chapel or whatever, but it's like
Okay.
I'm like, that's what you feel like you're in or something. Like it's just kind of nature feels like that sometimes. You're like, man, I'm in
Hmm.
this holy place right now. I'm in the Green Chapel type thing. But yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
just yeah. I don't
That's
know.
cool, especially after one of those really bad rainstorms too. It's almost like the peace is proportional to how bad the rainstorm was.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Have you had those
How bad the
experiences?
storm was. With a big storm, you mean?
Well, just
Specifically?
in general, like any experiences like that or something that are just
Oh, just weird.
well, that not necessarily weird, but just kind of like I guess kind of what we were getting at in general, having
Yeah.
that childlike wonder, that reverence and awe, just being out in I don't know. I feel like I
Yeah.
only get those in nature. That's why I'm like,
I only get them in nature too. I'm gonna have to think about it. Nothing's really coming to mind, but my life is full of them. I don't think I've had any like really recently. That's why I'm struggling to think of one.
yeah.
Normally they're smaller too. I don't think I've ever had one quite that dramatic.
It was pretty dramatic, man. It was.
Yeah, that's very dramatic.
Have you ever been caught in like a thunderstorm, lightning storm?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
many times.
Like
Yeah, I love it.
have you been like out walking in it or like in your car?
Yes, I have.
Out walking it, yeah. Is it so
Yeah,
those are like that?
it's terrifying. I mean, yeah, that's kind of it's a surreal experience, man.
It is. It's
Um,
funny how you say you love it too, though, because like I
I
could
do
totally
love it.
relate. Yeah, it's like
I absolutely love it.
it's one of the scariest experiences you could ever have in your life, and it's like, but it's at the same time you're just like, this is like absolutely wonderful. It's just
I don't think, like personally, I don't think I've ever actually been afraid though in it. Like
Oh, I have.
getting struck by lightning or something. That's never really at the forefront of my brain.
Really?
So I
Oh,
just, God, I just love getting soaked like to the bone and even like deeper than the skin,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just went all the way through. And yeah, I mean, I've certainly been at those. I can recall some where, and then it just like stops on a dime, and then it's just like the quietest quiet you've ever like heard.
Yeah.
And it's just like a part of that piece too, because you're soaking wet and like your body has been through it too. I love that.
Yeah, and you can just like hear the earth drinking it in. It's just crazy.
You can,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, there's so many funky things like that that I think are all just part of. I mean, the way that I mean, I've told you this before. The way that I think I've always interacted with God, one of the main ways that He's talked through me is through nature and a sense of awe. And so it's like times like that where, um, like that peace that comes after the storm, and you feel like you were soaked even deeper than your skin goes, and the earth was thirsty, and it's like that where there's like no coincidence to any of that, right? Like there's no coincidence to the fact that you are like terrified and exhilarated, and it's the best time of your life, and it's also really scary, and then it's all better, and everything's suddenly 10 times more beautiful than it was before, and there's
Yeah.
this long build up before the song. Like it's like a symphony, that plays out in
Yeah.
front of you.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
a
symphony
great
that
way.
plays out through the Bible.
That's
And
a
it's
great
like,
way to describe it.
God, it's like a show almost. And so it's like things like that I just absolutely
Yeah. That's cool. That's a great way to describe it, man. Like a symphony. It is. Yeah, I'm the same way. I think that's where most of my communication, I think, with God comes from, is either in nature or just reading the scriptures too. I mean, I don't pray enough or worship enough for sure. I don't
agree.
like I'm totally
Yeah,
lacking in both of those. I'll
yeah,
admit it.
yeah. I need to do that more as well. But
But I think that is
gosh,
maybe kind of a type of prayer and worship too, though. It's just that, like
I
you're
think
talking
so.
about, the reverence and the awe and just the thankfulness for being out in nature.
I think so. But man, I think that's so cool that it like had to do with the book you're writing. I don't think that's a coincidence either.
Yeah, yeah, that's nuts. Speaking of though, are you going to the side note? Are you going to the cabin this weekend?
So I just heard about that.
Oh,
My
okay.
mom texted me today. So when is that?
Well, I'm going up
This
tomorrow.
weekend?
Me and Trey are going up tomorrow night, and then I think the plan is to work Saturday on Uncle Matt's. We're trying to put the roof on.
I literally didn't even hear about that until just now.
What?
I
Oh,
gotta
I
start
don't
having
know.
people let me know ahead of time.
Well, I don't know what was going on. Like apparently, yeah, I don't know if it was a big thing because I don't know if Uncle Matt's gonna actually be there. So I think we were trying to
Oh,
do it for him, sort of.
you know what
I
you're
don't know.
doing?
We're just, I guess, we're putting the boards on to the attached to the main beam that we put up last time, and then we're gonna. I think,
Golly,
but
well, that'll need a lot of people, won't it?
yeah, I don't
Is
know. I
Michael
mean, it's.
going?
I'm not sure. It's me. As far as I know, my dad went up tonight, and he's gonna, I guess,
Okay.
spend tomorrow getting most of the wood and everything. Me and Trey are going up tomorrow afternoon or night. And then I don't know if anyone else is going. And then, but yeah, I didn't know if you're coming or not.
Gotcha. I don't think so, just
Okay.
because I already have to work on Saturday.
Yeah.
But whenever you find out, normally your dad's good about letting me know, or Uncle Matt, but sometimes I think I mean, I don't hear
Yeah.
about it last minute. So whenever you find out for the next one, let me know. I was thinking
Okay.
about one like the 17th, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, okay. The 17th. Maybe I can go up there then.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been wanting to do a trip up there too, where we can just like
Not
have
work.
some time to sit around and talk. Well, yeah, I mean, I like working.
No, I know what
but
you mean. I completely agree.
I really like working.
I do
That's
too.
one of the things. That's one of the weird things, the awe things that you're talking about. Is there's also something about working with your family on something really hard, and then we've like got caught in the rain, and then you go inside and sit in front of the fire, or like on the porch or something, and those moments are incredibly poetic to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love to work. I really do.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but I know what you mean too. It's nice to go up there and just you could actually just sit and read or something or
Yeah.
enjoy nature. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Instead of just like feeling beat down every time. I
Which
was
never
sore after the last.
oh god, I don't know. Me too. I don't know what it
Were
was.
you? I was
Yeah.
so sore.
That's probably the worst I think I've ever been. I don't know why. It
Me
was
too. Well, we were climbing a lot and lifting those giant heavy beams.
I know, but
I
it's like
assumed that was it.
but like I feel yeah, I think what wore me out when we were moving the boards under his cabin to put him under there.
Yeah, me too.
That's what killed me that day. But it's weird because like when we had to pour the concrete for his cabin, I mean, we were hauling those bags, the 80-pound bags of concrete, mixing
Wasn't
them up.
there that day.
Oh, okay.
I heard that
Well,
was hard though.
we did that for my dad's and we did it for Uncle Matt's.
Oh, I was
And
there for
it's
your
like
dad's,
we
yeah.
mixed it all by hand, like did it super fast. And like that didn't wear me out as much. Like it tears up your hands and stuff, but it's like
Yeah.
for some reason that day I was just beat. And then the next a few days after that, like the soreness just kept increasing, like probably till 3 days. And I was
Me
like,
too.
yeah, it's weird. A
I
lot
don't
in my
know why.
legs. But
Yeah, me too. Me too. Do you remember that time that we were moving those giant boulders for Uncle Mark to make that staircase?
yeah.
And you almost got crushed?
Yeah.
Or your arm almost got crushed or something?
No, it was my leg. Yeah, I
Or
remember
your
that.
leg?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you had to come over and save me. I don't know what I was doing.
Me and Natalie were there.
I was trying to move some boulder on my own, and I remember like it just started to go on my leg, and then I was watching my knee, and my leg like started to bend this way, and I was just like this, and I just knew it. I was like, this is not gonna hold much longer. And I think I yelled, and you were like right there and helped me push it off.
Yeah, me and Natalie were. I think you were yelling like, "My leg is gonna snap! My leg is gonna
Yeah.
snap!" or something like that.
Yeah,
It
because I was
like,
I remember watching it and like yeah, my leg was like it bends this way and it was bending to the side, and I was
Oh
like, this
gosh.
is gonna break off at the knee if it
That-
like yeah, it was
But even
nuts.
days like that, I wasn't that sore. But for
Yeah, I
some
wasn't
reason,
either,
the
yeah.
dad's cabin this last time, yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to this weekend, although I
No, that's all right. Next time I have 2 movies. I think I have an extra copy of Mother, but it's actually on my Voodoo account too if you want to hop on there
okay.
and watch
I'll
it.
watch
But
that.
yeah, but I have an extra copy
What
if
should
you
I
want
watch?
it.
What should I watch first, The Green Knight or Mother? Because I would like to talk about both with you.
Do you watch movies with Audrey?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
not
she
like
would probably.
often, but
I feel like she might like Mother better.
Okay.
The Green Knight's pretty weird, and I don't know. I feel like it comes across to me as kind of a guy's journey for knighthood sort of thing, like to
I
find
love that.
chivalry or something. So I don't know that if you're watching one with her, I don't know that it'd be maybe as relatable. But she'd probably still like it though. It's very beautiful. It's beautifully done.
Okay.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to talk about this with you. I was going to actually suggest, I mean, this is the first weekend where I don't have like a crazy amount of stuff packed in, so I would love to watch The Green Knight.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your take on it because I think a lot of people, especially people that have read the story, have not liked the film.
Have you read the story?
No, I've read like half of it, but I
Okay.
watched the film first. I think maybe I didn't. Maybe I read half of it first. I don't know. It's a hard read. It's like the like Dante
I
or
listened to it.
Beowulf or something. Like
It was
it's
like
poetry.
Beowulf.
Yeah. I have to like shift my mind to read stuff like that. I feel like where sometimes I'm reading and it's like I'm reading too I'm reading too consciously, not poetically enough or something. Like I don't know, it's weird.
Like you're thinking about it too hard.
Yeah. Or trying to make
Almost.
something and you just kind of have to let it flow. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. And because I remember I was reading one book, Hymns to the Night by I think novelist, I think it's novelist or novelist. Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
And it was probably like I read it, I was reading and reading and reading, and then all of a sudden I felt it click, and I was like, okay, now it's like because I was just thinking too much or
interesting.
something, and it just felt like I felt this shift, and I was like, and then it was just kind of flowing, and like the images that were coming through the poem were like resonating more. But at first it was just like
Interesting.
I it was almost like I had to hit this little wall or something, break through it. It was really weird. Yeah.
Weird. I
It
mean, we
might
were
just be
talking about literary techniques. That's like there's probably techniques that you can have as a reader. I mean, like I've learned that through the Bible, right? I know to approach the Bible in different ways. As a reader, you have techniques too of absorbing information, just
Huh.
like the writer has techniques of, you know.
Yeah, you're probably right. So can you give me examples of that? Of like, do you mean like discovering your own personal reading techniques and stuff?
No, I was just saying that's interesting that you hit that because we were talking about literary techniques and the way, like,
Okay,
to
yeah.
best convey information and leave it ambiguous but detailed. And it's like, well, to say the tree dragged me down, I think that's an excellent way of writing it, but it also requires the reader to be in a certain state of mind.
That's
Does
true.
that make sense?
Yeah. So like poetry, it probably because some people won't read poetry because it just doesn't resonate for them.
Well,
Yeah.
because they don't get it or they choose not to, or um, you meet people that take everything in the Bible super literally, and you meet people that take it all metaphorically, right?
Yeah.
And it's different reading styles. So I mean, that's just interesting that you had that experience. I don't think I ever
Huh. Well, try reading
crossed
that.
over a wall.
Try reading that Hymns to the Night one or something. Maybe I can let you borrow a copy next time.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was very good.
That's really interesting.
Have you been reading anywhere in the Bible lately?
Oh yeah, man.
Where you at?
Let me think. What was I reading? I didn't read today.
I usually ask you that question right off the bat. Now it's like we're an hour in
I know.
already. Yeah.
Isn't that sad? We
Yeah.
gotta change that.
Yeah.
Reading in the book of Samuel in a
Nice.
Bible study, reading through the book of Luke. We've been doing all the Gospels, which is better than I expected.
Really?
Yeah, and then read a chapter in Genesis or several chapters in Genesis like once a week because I still don't understand it, and I'd love to.
Which ones?
Genesis.
Which
Like
which
Genesis,
chapters?
like the early, like really
Okay.
just the account of creation.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the most fascinating to me. So yeah, Samuel and Mark would be, or Samuel and Luke.
So you said you read Genesis like once a week, the first usually?
I come back to it all the time.
That's interesting.
I don't know. Genesis and or
Huh. So you getting anything good at any of those? Like what's the buzz?
out of Genesis.
Any of them? Yeah. What's something that stands out?
Let me think. I've been taking notes. Or you've been reading first. I'll think.
Okay, I've been in. Today I hopped over into Matthew. I read the Gospel of John before that because I haven't been. I normally used to try to stay in one of the Gospels while I was reading somewhere else, but I haven't done that in a while. I just kind of let that slip. So I was reading in Matthew though. I started that today, read through some of that, and then I was in Ezekiel as well. So
what are you getting out of that?
Ezekiel. I don't know.
The only reason why I'm hesitating is like because I wrote something down and it was something I wanted to share with you, and I totally skipped my mind.
You know, I wrote something down in Matthew too. It was something else that I hadn't really seen before. I can't remember what it was though. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily anything new. Oh, there was one thing that I was kind of going through, and it was just the lamp of the body is the eye part. That was another thing that was kind of weird. So I was out reading, and I just read that verse, and then I was like, I kind of want to just put on some background worship music while I am reading. So I just go to my playlist on Spotify. I'm just gonna hit shuffle. The first song that comes on is "Be Thou My Vision," like right after I read that verse. The lamp of the body is, and I was like,
cool.
oh, that's appropriate. Yeah, it's another one of those weird, I don't know, I guess coincidences or something. But then just that, the lamp of the body is the eye. Then he says, if your eye is full of darkness, um, your whole body will be full of darkness, sort of thing. And then right after that, he starts talking about mammon. And then he says, "Don't worry about food and clothing." And so, like, if your eye is focused on mammon, upon what shall I eat, what shall I wear, like that's kind of the darkness, because he says you can't serve God and mammon. So your eye is focused on the shadow, the material things of the world, the like
That's
the
cool.
valley of shadows, I guess you could say. Like George,
Right.
yeah. So that's kind of just drawing lines, kind of connecting it all through, because then he goes down all the way down, and then he talks about the speck being in your eye, and like you got to like remove this plank out of your own eye before you can remove the speck, and it's like right after all the worry stuff, and so like I don't know if it's all supposed to be connected, but I was like this reading when I hadn't done that before, but I connected them all this time to like the darkness in my eye being connected to me being too focused on the mammon and then worrying about it, and then that being the plank in my eye because I've got this worry and these things of the world that I'm seeking. Like I'm focused, my eye is focused on the things of the world that the Gentiles are seeking after: food, clothing. Like when he's like, "Don't worry about that. Don't focus on that. Seek ye first the kingdom of God." And so, did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
It's a freaking spider. He's
Oh,
like just chilling.
oh my
That,
gosh.
that's an omen, right? He's coming back down. What
Oh my
are
gosh.
you doing? What is he doing, man? There's these massive spiders out here every night. These two big ones, man. I don't know if I could get them on the screen. They build these huge webs, though, like literally, like that big. Yeah, since we got video here, they're doing it right now, though. They build them every single night. These massive webs. They're beautiful webs, though. But
Oh,
they,
that's cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Oh my goodness, you're doing it again. What is wrong with you? Goodness, what are you?
See, that's kind of a funky thing.
He's just going down and up. I don't understand what he's doing. Don't build a web somewhere. What kind of spider is this anyway? He just like he comes down all the way down, and then he just moves his little legs and climbs his web all the way straight back up. Just build your web, man.
I was
Stop.
not ready for this discussion with my notes, but I took some really good notes and I was making connections with the Pharisees.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Sorry, I'm listening.
Oh no, you're
There
good.
he goes.
There he Oh my gosh.
I really don't want him getting on me. Sorry, the Pharisees. You were talking about them.
Yeah, I took a lot of I was getting a lot of good notes on them. But I don't have my notebook with me, so I'll have to do that. I also don't exactly understand the parable of feeding the 5,000.
I don't either. Like I know there's some numerology thing where it's like the so wait, there's the 5,000 because one is supposed to be like he's feeding Israel, the other ones he's the Gentiles, right? Have you heard
Yes,
that theory before? Yeah.
I
So
have.
that makes sense to me. It's just I always feel like there's more to it than that, but maybe not.
Perfectly honest, I am such a skeptic when it comes to numerology because it seems like there are an infinite number of ways to read into things when it comes to numbers in the Bible. And I know there's like definite patterns, but I have seen so many funky things that people have, concluded because of numbers of things that I don't know. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I don't know either. I always kind of am a little skeptical too. I like the idea of the quality of numbers rather than the quantity, like qualitative, like sense. So like if you have, you can just kind of, uh, I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. Like usually
Yeah,
I think,
give me an example.
well, like when it comes to like the Trinity idea, like you have, so if you have one, like you just kind of get certain feelings with that. Like you have 1 point, and it's just kind of alone. There's kind of like a solitariness to it. Then you have two, and it's like they two just for some reason to me always feels like they're separate. Like I feel like I need a third in order to connect them for some reason. I don't know why. That's it, and maybe that's just a personal thing, but I think the reason I think it maps on is because you like have a covenant. Like there has to be a reason for 2 points to come together, right? Like there has to be. And maybe that's why it works that way in my head. like us right now, like there's a reason we're coming together.
Right.
Like you could say it's because we're family or this or that. Like there's a third thing. Um, so like two
I
just kind of
agree.
has this weird separation feeling to me as well.
Agree. I would think that maybe part of that is probably your maybe I don't know. This is not the right word, but maybe your bias towards thinking in terms of a Trinitarian pattern. I wouldn't venture to think most people would see two as lonely, but I completely agree
I don't know that I think of
with you.
two as two. One seems to me like more lonely, but two, I don't know that.
Or incomplete, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it just kind of seems separate or
Because
something.
Noah loading up the animals 2 by 2.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that's
wasn't
true.
even really. I mean, no, I was thinking, what are some instances of repeated sets of twos in the Bible? I was like, well, Noah and the animals, but it was under the service of something else, and so you still had your Trinitarian
Yeah, I guess I don't. It probably is just influenced through some biblical bias, because even like Adam and Eve, it's like you have Adam, and then Eve is taken from Adam, so it's like the one becomes two, and then they're separate, and then you need a like the covenant to make them one again or something. Like
pattern.
it's like you have one stick and then you break off another one, then you have two sticks, and
Right.
then you can tie them back together, but you need like a string or something. So maybe that's just why it works in my head that
So
way. I don't
maybe
know.
would like useless be a better word?
Useless?
2 sticks, yeah, for two.
No,
Two
no, no.
are
I don't think
two
it's
two sticks
useless.
are no good unless they're
I don't
able
know.
to. A man and a woman are useless unless they're operating under the covenant. Adam and
That's
Eve were
quotable right now. Man and
useless.
woman are useless unless they're banging.
I mean, actually,
Yeah, yeah.
what is man and woman doing other than wasting time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I would use the word useless because I'm not sure.
I
I don't know
don't. That
what
might
do
be
you
a
get?
little strong.
Do you get like what sort of qualitative sense do you get when you think of two? Like, is there any sort of like? Because here's maybe a better example. Like four, do you get like stability when you think of that? Because most people describe that as stability because you have like four corners to a table, like you have four legs,
Yeah,
four corners to the earth. It's like, but do you
yeah.
get that
The 4
sense?
pillars, 4 elements.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
like
And
four.
I don't, it's kind of hard because I don't know how much of that is because I'm familiar with 4 being used in terms of stability, like the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 legs to a table. Like I'm kind of used to seeing that. And so I don't know how much of 4 is ingrained in me as being a number that represents stability versus how much it just naturally seems like a stable number to me.
Yeah,
But I
but I mean, I
agree.
think but I think that's some of the reason is because it actually happens that way, right? I mean, like you put four legs on
Yeah.
a table, so I think that's why
Yeah.
there's a qualitative sense to it of like this stability, like to get at the characteristics of numbers or like yeah, the trait, the I don't know how I
Mm.
would describe it. The spirit, like
No, that's
I have
good.
no
That's the
idea.
spirit behind the number 2.
Yeah, so that's kind of
So
what I mean. Like,
what's the word that, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
What's the word that you would use to describe the spirit behind the number 2 then?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Because my gut tells me it's not like a great word because I think when 2 becomes 3
Well, it
or the
seemed
2 are united under 1 is when it you ascend up to whatever it's supposed to be.
I mean, I don't think it's useless, like, I think it's necessary, but it seems like, um, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what to think of it. Like, that it just happens even in creation, like, if you came from God, so it's just God, then he creates you, and so then there's you, and
Okay.
then you're, like, almost separate from God, but it's almost necessary because he wants something else to love or something. Like love needs something else to love, and it needs the other thing to actually have its own identity and be separate.
Mm.
So it's not just loving like it's
Yeah.
duplicate or something, and not some narcissist sort of thing. Uh, and then it pulls it back into itself. With the love, I guess, is the third thing. I don't know, but that's what I mean. It's like all this weird Trinitarian stuff in my head that's affecting it. I'm not sure what I think of what two. It doesn't come across to me as bad though, or even useless. Part of me wants to say like there's for some reason I kind of think of brotherhood in a way. Uh,
Mm,
but I think there's there's like a bond to brotherhood too though, right? Like there's a third thing, right? I don't know. I don't know, there's twins.
there is.
So there's twins. 2 would be a good one to put to get down though, because we have so many things like 2 eyes, 2 sides of the brain, right hand, left hand,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Esau, Jacob, like Cain and Abel. Like there's all these twos, and I don't
I
know.
think once I saw this though, the two here and then the one here, it's almost impossible for me to look at something even like Cain and Abel and only see two and not see like a third acting influence that they're united.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean the reason like you could say they're 2 because they're not united under brotherhood. And then he's like, am I my brother's keeper? Like, you know, and so that's why he
Yeah,
killed him. And so it's like because they
right,
weren't because they didn't have that love, like
right, exactly.
or that unity of brotherhood. He's like, I'm not my brother's keeper. Like we're yeah. So it's always it feels separate to me in my mind. Like it feels like 2 separate things. Like there's a separation. Not that that's bad. It just feels like that's what it is. But I think that's always necessary though, because like I mean, you think about a woman giving birth, it's like she's one basically, and then you have the separation. Like it needs that's like a necessary thing or something
Mm,
in order for creation. It's like a process of creation. But then it has to I don't know. I don't know, man. The quality of numbers. I don't know that I've put my finger on any of it. Like 5, I don't know
I
what
don't think
5
I have
is. I'm like
either.
7, but then it's like, is that just my religious background? But I don't think that's the case
I
because
think
I
it
think
is.
that seems like a universal thing, or at least a religiously universal thing,
I
right?
think it's a religion. I mean, seven is a lucky number. Seven is all through Buddhism. You know, seven is in Islam. Seven's all through Christianity. I have no idea why. I don't know where it came from, but like
Well, there's
religiously universal.
but there's cycles too, right? So there's 7 days of a week, which actually means something because like that actually is to everybody's calendar, right? 12 months in a year. Like, I don't know what 12 means either, man. I don't know. There's 12 zodiac. So like these things are not just
Right.
Christianity. There's 7 what the 7 things of in alchemy, 7 metals of alchemy or something.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
man.
How did
Two
we
is
get over
interesting
here?
though, because
We were talking about the
well,
Bible.
man, you brought up like two eyes, two hands,
Oh
left brain,
yeah.
right brain.
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
and woman, like biology is a lot of two.
Yeah, yeah.
DNA comes in, well, DNA comes in sets of fours, but it's two strands spiraled together.
Huh. That's interesting. 2 strands spiral together. I don't know, man.
The picture.
You can pull it, you can share a screen if you want. I think
Yeah,
I
I
set it to
will.
do that.
And there are, yeah, there's, yeah, here it is. Adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Those are your four phosphates.
Huh.
You remember this from biology class?
No, I don't remember anything from school. Like I literally remember nothing from school.
Here you go.
Except maybe getting into trouble here and there. I don't
So these are four like phosphates that no, these aren't no, this is the phosphate here on the outside, I'm pretty sure. These are the four types of yeah, so these are the bases that make it up. So there's
okay.
four that make up everything, and then it's a double helix.
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know, just interesting stuff.
Yeah. So what do you make of all that?
What do I make of it? It seems like two. So thinking about feeding the 5,000, you have 5 loaves, 2 fish. I'm not sure about the 5 loaves. I'll write that off for now.
5. I'm trying to think of what that was. He feeds the 5,000. What was that again? Because that's the one that's supposed to be Israel, right? Was that the 5 books
Yes,
of
that's it.
Torah? What is it? What did they say
No,
that?
it's Israel.
I can't remember why they say that. Is it the 5 books of Torah? No, because the next one's Israel, right? No, I don't
Mm-mm.
remember because there's 12 baskets full of fragments, right? In one part, or is
There's
it
12
7?
baskets full of leftovers. No, there's 12.
And that's the feeding of the 5,000, right? Where there's 12. So the 12
Yes.
tribes of
Yes.
Israel.
So it's
Okay, yeah,
Israel.
yeah, yeah. And then the
Yes.
next one's
Yes.
7, I think, which is like the 7 nations or something like that.
Yes. I
Okay.
think so.
All right, all right. Numerology. Oh my
But
goodness.
I know. But even in that context too, it feels like the feeling is it's either separate, Cain and Abel, like a deviation away from the true Trinitarian pattern. So the two are not united anymore and it becomes destructive. Or everything that you brought up with number 2 has a reproductive purpose to it. So 2 is in order to reproduce. And so even I was thinking, what other number 2s are there? I was like, oh, feeding 5,000. 2 fish. The 2 turned into more. And so I can't think of anything in the Bible where 2 is the ideal, but 2 is certainly used to either reconcile the Trinitarian pattern or to create multitudes.
To reconcile the Trinity into pattern, or to what? What was the second thing you said?
Or to create multitudes of whatever it is. 2 fish turning into 12 baskets of fish.
Yeah, but wouldn't that kind of be one and the same thing, right? Because once the 2 come back together, that's the idea that it'll create multitudes.
Yeah, kind of.
Right? Sarah,
it's kind of
Sarah
the same
and Abraham.
thing. But I don't want to say like the 2 in that. Well, I was thinking about Sarah and Abraham too.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's like broken in its state of 2-ness.
Brokenness. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm the same way. I don't want to say that either. Like, I don't think it's broken in a state of 2, and I think it's necessary because you have to have like that distinction. Does that make sense? In order to, like, you have to have 2, like, unless or otherwise it'd just still be 1.
Yeah.
Like, because even if you, because then otherwise you'd just be looking in a mirror or something. Like, when you look in a mirror, you don't necessarily see 2.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
Right. And like, I think what you brought up makes perfect sense. If you didn't, I was going to. But whenever I think of 2 or like the necessary for there to be 2, I immediately think of love. And the way that love needs something that's not itself so it can bring it into itself. And that needs more than 1 always. And if love is like the main animating force in everything, 2 is important, right? Like it's not broken. So what about 5? Why were there
Magic
2
number.
2 fish and 5 loaves?
Have you seen the School of Rock video though? 3 is
The one that I probably saw when I was a kid.
3 is the magic number. Have you not seen it? Have you seen it?
No.
What?
No, not recently. I watched that one.
Okay. I don't know how long it is. I don't know. I don't want to watch it all. It's 3 minutes and so long. I just didn't. I wonder if they'd had more than if they go through more than 3. I don't know what 5 is though. To get to your question, what do you think?
5.
I've often heard grace. I don't know why. Maybe that's because in the Christian view, grace replaces works because you have 5 fingers on your hand, and so you're thinking maybe it's the works of your hands or something. I don't really know.
So I remember I just Googled this. I remember I was reading Leviticus not too long ago, and I was reading something by oh gosh, Ray. What's his name? It was determined by Ray. What's his name?
How many children does Leah have? Does she have 5?
I'm not sure, but there are 5 types of
they get into this baby making battle, and I lose count. You know. Sorry, what were you saying?
There are 5 types of offerings that God requires Israel to give them in Leviticus. I remember seeing that, and I thought, oh,
okay. So
I found it right here. It is 5. It's burnt offering. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
One.
Wait, can I guess? Let me guess.
Yeah, go for it.
So you got burnt offering, peace offering,
Yes, yes,
grain offering.
yes.
Let's see, drink offering. Is drink offering on
No.
there? Drink offering. Okay, so let's see. What you
So
got?
you got peace,
Peace,
trespass, and grain.
sin, and sin is
Yes.
one. Oh goodness, what would be the fourth one then?
You're at
Would
4.
it be like free will? Free will offering? I
It's
think.
grain
Thanks.
or burnt.
Yeah. So
Burnt
we had
offering.
burnt, grain,
Burnt
trespass, sin, and then what was the free
peace.
will? Peace. Oh, peace. Okay. So
Peace
okay,
offering.
I did say
Yeah.
that one. All right.
Yeah. So
Huh.
yeah, you got all 5.
I don't know that I would have said burnt though, unless you had said that first. I don't know that I would have said that one. I mean, that makes sense,
Well,
but
he
I guess I
specifically
just would have
said
thought.
that.
I guess I just would have thought they were all kind of burnt offerings, but maybe they aren't.
That is Leviticus 1, right? Let me see. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, it is. But I thought like the grain offering was like a burnt offering anyway. Like I thought your offerings to God were given to the fire, so I thought they were all kind of burnt offerings.
Oh,
But
maybe.
I guess not.
I think this chapter is titled "The Burnt Offering."
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe you could call it. Well, I meant like
5 offerings.
Aaron's
That's
priest
really
should
interesting.
arrange it. Yeah.
All right.
So you got
So
the
we
5
got
offerings.
the
Well,
5.
that's grace, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Wait, explain that more. That's grace. The 5 offerings.
I mean, offerings in the service of grace. Why were you doing the offerings in the first place?
Because of his grace. The peace
No,
offering.
I mean,
Yeah.
to reconcile with God.
I mean, I think
To
you're
obtain
right.
grace and or mercy. I don't think it falls out of line with grace at all.
Yeah.
If 5 is grace.
Huh. That's interesting. Man.
What do you think about 5? About being grace?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes what helps me too is like if I'm thinking about writing something. So actually, dude, this is interesting. I wish Mitch would be here. He was talking to me last night about the genie and the 3 wishes, and he was like, "Why do you think it's 3 wishes?" And I was like, "I don't know, but something about that just feels right, doesn't it? Like if you were gonna give, if you were writing the story and you were gonna give the
Yeah.
character wishes, like what number would you choose? Like 2 isn't enough. 5 almost
No,
feels
2 is
like
not enough.
4 is just like I don't know why. Why would I like it? Just feels wrong to me.
I'm gonna grant you 4 wishes.
I
No,
don't.
3 is perfect
And
enough
5,
to like make a dumb one and learn from the first, and then make like a selfish one or one in a time of need in the second.
yeah,
And
but
then do something
but
sacrificial.
5's like too much, right? Though because it's like
Oh,
5.
yeah, 5
There's
is
like
too much.
5 is like there's too much grace or like too much like you need 3 so that way the character can really f this up if he doesn't get it right. You know, it's like just
Yeah.
the right number or something. So sometimes I don't know. All that to say, sometimes like I feel like that helps me get at the number if I think I'm like if I'm actually writing a story and I'm like the pigs, like if I wanted to write about the pigs that you know the demons that go into the pigs or something, like how many
Yes.
pigs are there, like if I want to put a number on it, it's like, well, what number would I choose? How many thousands of pigs? Like I don't know, like it just like and you're thinking about, would it be 1,000, would it be 2,000, would it be 3,000, like just whatever number feels right. And then you have to figure out, why does it feel right? Like why does this number just like I don't know what it is. Sometimes I don't know, that always helps, but sometimes that kind of helps me get at it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you run into that scenario. I think with the wishes, it's kind of like that. It's like, why is this number just like the perfect one? Like it has to be this number.
It is perfect. It is
Yeah.
perfect.
I don't know why that
I
is.
don't know. I don't know why. I mean, like I said, I mean, in the context of a story, your 3 wishes would be the arc that you see is the first wish is normally something the character regrets.
Yeah.
So like the dumb one, you don't understand what you have, and then you're down to 2. And then the second wish is something selfish or like gets the character out of a bind. So something like self-preserving, but not what you would really tend to spend a wish on. And then the third wish is something that's sacrificial, because by the time that you've reached your third, you understand the power that's behind it. But you're down to 1, and so it's the ultimate act of
You free the genie.
kind of martyrdom in a sense, because you free the genie and you are laying down your life of wealth and riches and whatever, and spending your wish on, something else. And so,
The self-sacrificial wish. Yeah,
yeah,
I like
three
that.
is,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm gonna read like the text. Let's see what he said. Let's see.
yeah, send,
He said,
yeah, read it.
why do you think the genie gives three wishes? Numerology is tough. I said, I don't know, but that's a very interesting question. If you were writing a story and you had a genie show up and he was going to grant you a number of wishes, what number would you choose? And he said three for sure. And he said, unless I had some shtick in my mind. And then, but even that would be subverting the rule of three. And I said, that's when I said two is not enough. Four just doesn't seem right. Maybe five, but for some reason that feels like too much, and three feels like the right number. He said, I wonder what the three wishes are supposed to be. And then I said, that's a really good question as well. I never even thought as there's a proper way the wishes should work. And I think that's getting into what you're talking about. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's the pattern. And he said, let's see. He said something creative, something salvific, and something sustaining is what he said. And he said that's
Mm,
Trinitarian. And then he said that's Trinitarian, Father, Son, Spirit. And I was like, uh, so something creative is like you're wishing for like just riches or something, right? Like you're wishing for just it could
yeah,
be like just give me this like let's just
yeah,
create
I think
something.
so.
Let's and well I don't know because then
Right,
we were thinking about Aladdin. It's like he wishes to be a prince, so he wishes to be
right,
recreated into a
right.
prince.
That's what I was thinking about too.
And then
Yes.
the weird thing after that though is he like I think his second wish is like when he gets into trouble and he has to wish himself out of death, right?
Yeah.
Salvific.
So that's kind of, I mean, what I was coming up with. I was not even thinking about Aladdin, but I think I had said like something self-preserving
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
little bit more selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then because yeah, he's gotta dig himself out of this hole, and then the third one is
Right.
the yeah, because he in Aladdin, I think the second wish is when he's drowning, right? And
Yes,
then
I
yeah,
think
he said
so.
and yeah, and then the third one he sets the genie free, yeah. Yeah, so I think it is the 3 is because of the
Three is
story, the pattern of the
perfect.
story, it's like the arc yeah.
Well, I mean, gosh, you could trace that pattern into a bunch of different things, but you have the three different stages of life. So you have like young age, middle age, and old age, or like youthfulness. And so in youthfulness, you are dumb and you make mistakes, kind of like you would with the first wish. It's normally something that doesn't amount to a ton, is kind of forgetful. In middle age, you have a family and you're trying to be very self-preserving, and then in old age, you tend to, as you come to the end of your life, you tend to
That's
orient
fascinating.
your time towards things that are going to live past you, that are self-sacrificial
That's
or that are
interesting.
sustaining, kind of like what Mitch said. So, I mean, and in the way that a character matures as he goes through the three wishes, it's almost like how people mature in life.
Does that map onto Moses? Like, first 40 years,
Oh,
He's in Egypt, right?
think about
He's the prince of Pharaoh the first 40 years. The second 40
okay,
years, he's got his family and his flock in the wilderness. Then the last 40 years, he's going to save Israel out of Egypt, right? I think. Right? I think that's what it is. Because I think he goes for at year 40, he kills the Egyptian, has to flee to Midian. That's when he gets married,
yes,
has his two
yes.
kids. Um, and then he meets God. And then when he meets God, I think that's the last 40 years of his
Oh,
like he
wait, that
spent.
does map onto Moses.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. The three wishes, man. Three wishes.
It's the, it's the three wishes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he had the money and the stature and anything he really probably wanted, being the
Yeah.
son of a pharaoh. And then he was, what were the three things Mitch said again?
Well, he phrased it, and so this is probably semantics, but he said the
Yeah,
first one was creative, then the
yeah,
second so I think he said Father, Son, and Spirit. So he said I think the way he was writing it, the first one is creative. So I don't know if that would be the Son. Uh second one was salvific, like salvation, or
yeah,
we would say I guess we were
yeah,
saying preservation, and the third one was
yeah.
sustaining, which he
Okay,
said
we're
spirit.
saying the same thing, so it is all
Yeah,
semantic.
just different words.
So the creative stage would have been Moses'
Hmm.
early. Salvific would have been the
Uh,
middle period there,
yeah, which I
right?
don't know if salvific is the right word for that, but I think it would be like you're talking about like the where a man is building kind of building his he's building his family in that time. He's kind of building,
Right.
almost building himself and becoming who needs to be, sort of.
Who he needs to be for the final third act. Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then that third 40 years is
Huh.
what sustained Israel to what is today. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder if there are other Bible characters. I wonder if that maps onto. I'm trying to think of other ones that you get a more of a clear aspect of their life. And the only one I'm thinking of is David, 'cause that's kind of the same thing. But I don't know
What
that you
about
get that.
Esau?
I don't know if you get that pattern with David. Esau. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Of all the people you could have chosen, I feel like we don't get a whole lot about him.
No, we don't. Or well, what about Jacob?
Jacob might be a better one. I don't know. Esau, maybe. I don't know. Does Jacob actually do that towards the end of his life? I don't know if you see this like self-sacrificial wish.
I don't think you do.
Like I mean, I think
Do
ultimately, like
you?
maybe right at the very end where he's blessing his children, but until then, he kind of
That's what I was thinking.
disappears in the background a little bit with Joseph.
What about Jesus?
I don't know. We miss his teenage years when he was off partying. I'm just kidding.
When he was drinking.
Yeah. I don't know if you get very much. Yeah, I don't know. It's really.
That is cool though, because that definitely is the pattern, right? I would call that a very full life.
Yeah, and the genie wishes. I don't know. It's just kind of like if you think about it, five's just too much because then your character, you're writing the story. He has. It's almost like he's got these two extra wishes just to piddle around with, and you're like, you don't want to give him that wiggle
Right.
room, sort of thing. Like he needs to get this
Right.
right on the money. Yeah.
What's another example of something that is 3 but
Well,
5 is too much?
oh, I don't know. Well, there is the weird thing. Peter denying 3 times. But I don't think that maps onto like the 3 wishes thing. But there's a third 3 there. Oh, you know what's weird too though? What was I looking at? I think it was the story of Samson. The number 3 comes up over and over and over again. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it
Oh,
is.
interesting. I'll have to
I'm
read that
sorry.
again.
It's like every time you bring up 5, I just jump back to 3. I'm really sorry.
Oh no, it's
I don't
fine.
wanna.
I think 3 and 5 are kind of adjacent though. 5 is just 3 with 2 extra.
Let's see.
I mean, literally and
Yeah,
figuratively.
yeah. I mean, I think there's probably something to do with like what you're talking about, the 5 sacrifices, the 5 fingers. Like there's a lot there. Let's see. So I know there's the 30 changes of clothing, right? You know, where he does that
Yes.
with the riddle and everything, 30 garments. And let's see. There's 3,000 men. With the that I think he
Mm,
slays with the jawbone of the donkey, right? I think something like
yes.
that. Or then 3,000, no,
Yeah, I think it
3,000
is
men of Judah
3,000.
went to the cleft of maybe he only kills 1,000, I don't know. I think it is only 1,000 there. But there's 300 foxes. 3 days they couldn't explain the riddles, and they go to his wife, then on the 7th day they get it. Let's see, I'm trying to think. It just seemed like the 3 was showing up quite a lot there. As far as numbers go, like it wasn't um oh, he kills 3,000 men at the end when he tears
That's
down
what
the
it is.
pillars. That's what it is. For his 2 eyes. He says, "For my 2 eyes."
Hmm.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Judges is
Interesting.
very strange. So 5. I got a question for you though. What's
All
your
right,
favorite?
hit me with it.
What's your favorite number? I actually got a series of questions I want to ask you now that the kids wrote out for me in India. I'd like to get your answers to them. All right,
Sorry.
think
I
about
had
it
to.
real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back. Got your favorite number?
Hang on. I'm sorry. My things are being stupid. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh no.
But you can't hear me? Oh, wow.
Hang on, Jason. Sorry.
What?
Hang on.
You're good. I can still hear you.
You can?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, it's probably coming through here, though.
Oh,
You hear feedback? Like
no.
your own? Oh.
No.
Well,
Sounds good to me. Would your AirPods die or something?
I thought they did. Give me just
So,
a second. Sorry, everybody, if this is going to be posted.
no, you're good. I got a series of 15 questions that kids
Tell me
are-
what your favorite number is.
I
think
don't know
mine.
why. Okay, go ahead. Wait, you were gonna say yours.
Oh, I think mine is 3.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
Nice. Nice.
I think it's just the perfect number.
Do you know why, or is it just you just kind of have always had that? You've just kind of like that number.
No,
Oh, I lost you now. What did you say?
There
No. Wait, go ahead.
we go.
Yeah, it's gone now. Do you know why?
Oh, no. Hang on. Wait. Let me change mine. All right, whatever.
You good? What?
I'm gonna do it like this.
All right.
How's this?
That's fine with me. That was nice. It's a fun noise.
I could hear. Okay.
So what 3, like, has it just kind of always been like your favorite number? Do you know why, or just always been drawn to it?
I think so. So 3. It's like 2, but you have an extra. So you need 2 all the time, right? You need 2 for reproduction. You need 2 batteries for the TV remote. And so it's always good. You really only need 2 wishes, but it's good to have a backup. So you always grab an extra. 3, as an engineer, 3 is the strongest number. So it's like the strongest shape. Triangles are like the most stable shape that you can have in terms of like a truss for a bridge. Yeah. So that's why you see the really strong bridges are made up of triangles.
Yeah.
It's the most stable. So
is
in
it
a way,
is it the most stable or the most like weight bearing? Like you can hold the most
it's
weight?
the most stable.
Really? Because I would have thought 4 was because of what we said earlier. But the 4, like even on a table, you kind of need the weird triangle on the legs, right? To connect the legs to the base of the
You
table or
kind of
something?
do.
I don't know.
Here, let me just sketch something.
You're gonna do this in paint again? I don't know why. For some reason, I've always been, to answer your question though, I've always been drawn to 4. I don't know why that is though.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea why.
All right. So the thing with 3 is you have
nice.
something like this here, right?
Yes.
And you have a square here. If this was like a gate or something, and you push on it at the top,
Okay.
it might go like this. It might go wonky, or it might slide the other way.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, this square, it's not doing it. You know, it's
No, it
falling
doesn't.
apart.
3 is
You've
the
convinced
strongest.
me.
If you push there, it'll react here, and so it's the strongest shape from every direction. I would say
that's really interesting.
In terms of like, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely the strongest, and it's the most stable, but it's not the most practically stable. Like 4 feels the most stable because you have all the corners covered, right? And so there's like this big open area, and it's fixed at those ends, and it's fixed at these 2 ends, and so it's like sturdy. 3 doesn't really work for a table or other things. It's a different type of stability.
Yeah, it's like a strength or something.
It's like a strength.
Yeah.
One of them is like a service.
I like the image. I feel like we should get back to that. Let's go back to the image real quick. Can we go back?
Okay.
All right, all right. Because here, I want to ask you a question now coming off of this. This isn't related. I just want to ask you these other questions. But so there's this idea. I probably have brought this up to you before. All right. So when you summon spirits, have you heard of this? And you summon them within a circle?
No.
Okay. Well, you draw a circle, like when you're going to get in a seance or whatever. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
how this works, but I think either you are in the circle or you summon the spirit into the circle, and
Okay.
it's confined to that. Like in George in Fantasties, he does that. Remember with the
Yes.
yeah. So that's like actually a thing. You actually do that. But there's also
Oh.
this other idea, and I don't know why this is. I've been wondering why it is, and I need to talk to the right people because I think people that are like into that stuff a lot of times just do it, and they don't really. I don't know that they think why it works this way. But if you want to summon a spirit, and if you want to, I think make it obey you, you summon it into a triangle.
That
Like
seems
you
kind of goofy.
like
I'm on board with it.
Okay, okay, but here's like, why would that be though? Like, that's what's interesting to me. And so, like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like if I just pause and I'm like, if I'm thinking of consciousnesses or
Mhm.
intelligences, and so if I'm thinking of my mind, if I have an idea or something, if I'm in a circle, it's like for some reason it feels peaceful, feels nice. But if I'm like, maybe it's just the hard angles on a triangle. If I'm like,
Mhm.
if I'm thinking of my consciousness in a triangle, that sounds awful for some reason. Like being trapped in that, that does sound terrible.
Mhm.
Especially if I'm like, for some reason, like if my mode of thinking or consciousness is stuck in that, like I'm like, for some reason that does feel right. I'm not sure why it is though. Maybe it's the sharp angles. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's very similar to the same reason why a square is not the most strong, nor is it really the most stable, but it feels the most stable. I feel like it's kind of the same phenomenon.
Like if you were in the, like if you were in the, like just thinking like your thought. This is so weird. It's hard to grasp. Like I don't even know if it's making sense to you. If you're thinking like your mind is trapped in one of these spaces.
Yeah,
Like yeah, yeah. So your mind is stuck in the square. Like even that doesn't look that nice to me or something. Like, but it doesn't feel as bad as a triangle. The triangle feels
no,
awful. I like all these shapes. This is great. All right.
I
The
know.
circle, the circle kind of feels the best. I like that last one you drew. We need a
Yeah,
six
that's Pentagon.
the six we need a hexagon. Yeah, there we go. So what do you think of the hexagon versus circle? I'm pretty into hexagons.
You're a big hexagon guy.
Well, they're all over nature, man. You know, the honeycomb,
They
everything.
are all
Yeah,
over
yeah.
nature.
And
I
it's also the Star of David, six-pointed star.
The circle is the easiest, definitely. Oh, I guess that makes sense. So if you were to summon a spirit, you're giving it this circular domain in which it can kind of roam around.
Yeah, it's like trapped in it, but it's like, yeah, it's I don't know.
Circular also, I don't know, I could be super off here. So tell me if I'm just spouting nonsense, but circular almost feels like not really a boundary at all. So the triangle, there are these hard lines and sharp angles where the spirit can and cannot.
It feels like
It,
restricted and like
it is.
constricting almost in a
But
way too.
like the circle seems to like almost symbolize like no boundaries at all, if that makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, other than I mean like you're just enclosed in this space. But it's kind of like it feels like a freedom there or something
It's the
within a
most
space.
open. Yes, it's like the most open. Well, so bubbles are round when you blow bubbles because air tries to, or because the surface tension in the soapy water pulls itself together, and the circle is the tightest shape that water being pulled to each other can get. Anything else, and there's like wasted space, if that makes sense.
Anything else, there's wasted space. All right, can you say that one more time? The bubble. I gotta think about this as you're saying it some more.
Bubbles are round because there is the least amount of like distance this is longer way around than if it were just a circle. Every other shape other than a perfect circle, it has more edge space than
That's
the
interesting, huh?
circle does for the equivalent volume of the air.
Huh.
So
That's
in
really
that way,
interesting.
the circle is the most optimized shape.
Yeah, it's like the shape of a womb too, right? I mean, that's what we think of
Yeah,
it like. Yeah. I mean, we think of
yeah,
the
I
same
think
thing.
so. Well, it's the shape of the Earth.
Yeah.
It's the shape of the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something nice about it. I like it. I'm digging the circle. I can get trapped there.
I'm a big circle guy. It's kind
I,
of the shape of the Milky Way,
yeah.
the galaxies, stars.
For some
The
reason,
circle.
I feel like if my mind was stuck in this square, I would just be like turning back and forth. Do you feel the same way? Like I'd
Oh
like
yeah.
walk, like I'd be like in a continual
You
just
ever see
like the
those old
mind.
DVD things where it bounces from corner to corner all the way
Yeah,
around? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, or I
yeah,
feel like the mime in the box, It'd be
yeah,
like this, like that's how my mind would
yes,
feel for some
yes,
reason.
yes.
Yeah. Like it feel like a cell or something, kind of like a cell. But the
Well,
triangle feels like someone could make me do their bidding if I was stuck in that triangle for some reason. Like I don't
the
know why.
circle also, if you were a bug walking on these, the circle is the only one that would give you no hint as to how far you've gone or how long it's been if you
That's
were walking.
interesting. Yeah,
It has
that's
that
true.
eternal quality that nothing else has.
Well, that's really true. I like how you have to be a bug though to know. I'm just kidding. Like
Well,
if you were a bug.
I mean,
I know
you
what you
could,
mean.
I could zoom this in,
Yeah. No, I know what you
and
mean.
I could zoom it in and show you a fraction of the circle, and without looking at the rotation of it, you would have no idea what part of the circle is at the bottom and it's flipped. Is it the top? We don't know. Is it
Yeah.
in the middle? But you can tell this is obviously one of the corners of the hexagon.
Yeah, the hexagon. Huh,
It's
that's
the
really
only one
interesting.
that a sliver is the representative of the whole.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I like how we're like psychoanalyzing shapes now. This is fun.
The circle of life,
Yeah.
the wheels of
We're
time.
we're just trying to learn how to perform the proper seance here. So we know
I feel
which
like I'm in
if we're gonna
kindergarten.
if we're gonna summon some demons or some angels, we know which shape to put them in.
No, dude, I'm summoning mine in this shape right here. You'll be very confused. Oh, this will be yours right here.
Oh man.
Oh, that's
That would be awful though. That would be terrible. Like if you
it.
actually for some reason like I can actually I don't know if this is weird, but if I actually think of my mind being trapped in that shape, like I can actually kind of do that. And I'm like if my mind was stuck in that lightning bolt, that would be god awful.
Oh yeah.
It would just
Oh
be
yeah.
it would make me angry, I'm sure.
I also don't know if this means anything, but all right, tell me what you think of this. We start out with with the shape with no sides at all.
Okay.
And then we add a side to it. And we add a side to that.
Okay.
And we add a side to that. And
Do
we
you
add a
see
side to that.
but do you see how you had to skip too? Do you see what I'm saying? Like the first one's just one. It's 1 point.
That is
And
true.
you had to skip 2. That's really weird. Sorry, I'm not sure
I'll
what
put
to
a.
do it. I'm not
I'm
sure what
not
to
sure what to do with that.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. So we add a side. We're adding like a point. I mean like or when we're adding a side. We are adding a side. Okay.
So then, um,
All right. We're at 6, so we need 7.
yeah, they don't have that. So I
Oh my
am
goodness.
posting
What?
it
My goodness.
right
What is pain
here.
thinking? All right.
There's 7. And now I'm just gonna skip ahead to 20. And I'll skip to 12. And I want to ask you, what do you notice about these shapes?
They keep getting more circular, right?
Yeah. And here's 12. And then by the time I just Googled 20, I can't even hardly tell the difference between 20 and a perfect circle.
Huh. That's interesting. Does this get into universalism? We need
Well, that's my
all
question for
dots,
you.
all
That's my
dots to
question for
complete
you.
to come
So
to get back to this to get back to the one. You have to grab in all the dots.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe the circle is the ideal. All right. We had the fall of man, and this is the ascension process.
Yeah, okay.
Back up to a form that's indistinguishable from the ideal itself.
Yeah, because the more you keep including, the more you keep pulling the dots together, adding another point to the shape, the more you keep doing that, the more it's getting back to the to whatever that sorry if that dinged again. That's gonna probably show up in the recording and be annoying. But when it gets back to the more of the original pattern.
Yeah.
The unity of things, I guess, or the circle
Yeah.
shape. That's really weird.
And
I'm not sure what to make of that yet.
I'm not sure what to make of that, and I know it's kind of dumb, but I think that's an excellent picture of something. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, in
You
a
know,
way,
sometimes when I get into these things, I'm always like, I feel like there's gonna be somebody somewhere that might's gonna watch the video and be like they're gonna know exactly what it is, and they're just like, "You morons! Like, why haven't you got it? I've thought about this already." I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you're onto something though. I don't know what to make of it, but that's really fascinating.
And we had to skip 2.
Yeah, 2, I think, would be the fall, right?
2 would
I
be
think that would be
fall.
the fall, and then the coming back together.
And then
Yeah,
3.
the video I just posted today, I talked to Nate Heil and Jedediah Pascal. I'm not sure if I say his last name right, but you might find that one really interesting. I'll send you it's on their I would watch it on their channel, Grail
Okay.
Country channel, because that's where the comments are and stuff. But
I opened that one. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow at work.
but it's interesting because I think they're talking about the same idea. Like you get into this, like the 2 is kind of the fall, but it's necessary because you have this where all of a sudden you see yourself, and it's like, and so when you see yourself, like you see that you're separate from the one, and it's like necessary for you to like actually exist, but then you have to kind of come back into being for
Why do
that.
you see yourself when it's the 2? Is it like a mirror?
Well, um,
Or
no,
like
it's
the
kind of
2 can
we
exist?
were talking about it kind of in the way people talk about ego, except I don't necessarily think it's that
Mm,
bad. That kind of puts a bad spin on it. And that's what I mean. I don't think it's a bad thing because it's um like you we were talked about it as in the Nate described it really well. He was talking about the process of just how it happens in every person. And I was like, that probably maps onto all humanity. As like if you look at because we were talking about the evolution of consciousness, right? And so we're talking about now we're kind of coming to this evolved state. And so I was like, does this, if you look at Adam as being humanity as a whole, this, you could look at him as a singular person, but then that maps onto humanity as a whole. So we're kind of coming back into this, uh, where it's everybody's consciousness are being more unified. The many is coming back into one or something. But if you look at it just in a singular individual life, it looks maybe it's a little easier to break down. It's like you have a child, and so he's just kind of being. But then there comes this point where like you have the self identity, like you're trying to identify
yeah.
yourself, like yeah, which is necessary because you would like
Yeah.
even if especially if you're the father, you would kind of want that. But then that is a like a separation because they're not like kind of like weirdly discovering themselves or something. They're becoming their own person. Like you want them to be their own person. So it's like you want them to have their own free will, to be their own self. Um and then but then they have to come back into the
Right.
like the family. Like the teenager goes out in rebellion. Like they may discover themselves, but it's like the prodigal son
Right.
has to come back, sort of thing. Uh, and I don't know that you have to get into rebellion. That's what I mean. Like the whole ego idea, I think puts a bad spin on it. But it seems like there has to be that um Yeah, where you look in the mirror and you see yourself, and then there comes another point where you look back and you see like your father, you see like your brother or sister or something. I don't know. Yeah. So
Mm,
I don't know. I think we're kind of coming. It was interesting talking to them, but it seems like it's a necessary process of like creation, and I think it maps onto the shapes too. Like you have the one, and then it like the two, and that's kind of the state of the fall though, because it's like you're separating yourself from that one, and then
right.
there's a yeah. So I don't know. I can let you go here though, man. I don't know if it's been going. We've been going for a while now. It's up
Oh
to you.
yeah, man,
I don't
two and
know.
a half hours.
Yeah, yeah. But
Probably. I didn't even realize what time it was.
well,
Yeah,
I'm fine to
probably
keep
so.
talking. It's just up to you. I didn't know how
Oh, it's all
Audrey's
right.
doing.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing either. She's probably. I've been trying to go to bed earlier because I've been waking up real early in the morning,
Yeah.
and I gotta drive down to Clemson tomorrow.
Well, can I ask you these
So,
questions? I got 15
yeah,
questions here. Hopefully, they won't take
shoot
too
them at
long.
me.
All right.
Wait,
So
where are these from?
these are so when I was in India, I just thought they were asking me. Uh, Kami now, the little girl there, she was asking me just random questions, and I was like, they seemed like at first they seemed like silly questions, and I'm like, God, these are just amazing questions. Though, like you really get like at people's personality when you just ask the most simple questions.
I love it.
So then we came up with like a list, and I got them all to like write down all their answers. So there's like a list of 15 questions, and I was like,
Oh,
I just need
dude,
to,
that's so special.
yeah, yeah,
That's
it's so much
awesome.
fun. It's so much fun. So all right, the first one, number one, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. All right. What is your favorite fruit?
Mango.
That's what like almost all of them said too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mango.
Do you like it? Do you like mango?
Yeah, yeah, I do. You gotta
What's
try
your
this fruit
favorite?
over there is jackfruit though. I think I told you about that though. You gotta try
Yeah,
it. It's
I've
so
never had it.
so weird.
That's
Oh,
your favorite?
also, no, my favorite, I said when I was there, what did I say at first? Oh, I think I said jackfruit because I was just thinking about there, but then I think it'd probably be blackberry.
Mm,
Because I've always loved blackberries. But I speaking of fruit though, I did like a YouTube short where I went out and
okay.
found pawpaws. Have you had those?
No.
Nobody
I've heard
like yeah, like most people don't even know about them because they're like I guess they've never been cultivated, but they're like a natural fruit to North America. And
what?
you got yeah, dude, they're really freaking good. Like they taste like a banana mixed with like either cantaloupe or mango.
Where'd you find them?
You just find them at the river. They're just in the wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
Whoa.
cool. Yeah.
You
I'm
should
gonna
make
try
like
to
a jam or something.
I'm gonna try to take some of the seeds and plant some, and then we can put them at the property, but I think they'd probably already be up there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be cool. They're yeah, so
Oh, that's
anyways,
so cool.
you would love them though, I'm sure, especially if you like ma like mango and stuff, but anyways, sorry, number 3. Well, we already did this one. What is your favorite number? So you said 3,
Yeah,
right?
hurry.
Okay. Alright, number 4. What is your favorite game? Let me see if I get another so they put, like, basketball, football, let me see, I don't even know what I put. One put Ludo, I don't know what that is. One of the girls put cricket. I put one. You're gonna want my answer probably once you
What is
should,
it?
should I tell you? Or anything?
Yeah.
I put Pinochle.
Oh, yeah, that'd be my favorite game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a
probably.
good one.
That's the only game I'll play at any point, any day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's probably.
Yeah, if someone says basketball, I'm like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't care.
If it's Pinochle, yeah. All right, so number 5, what is your favorite meat?
Beef.
Beef. Beef. Beef.
I think so. Beef, like
Arby's.
steak.
Let's go to Arby's.
That's my
Like
favorite
steak?
beef. Like a steak.
Meat. Like
Yeah.
a steak. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Nice. What is your favorite place? So you get I think like some of them I think I've maybe put the property, but like
I was gonna say property.
some other people yeah, okay. So a lot of the kids put like the village they were from, which is
Hmm.
Maolong, which one of the girls put the mountain, which kind of the same idea.
That's cool. Yours is the property.
Yeah, that's what I put. One
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
I think
Yeah,
that's my favorite place of anywhere.
yeah. This one kid, Ephraim, he put the river. So those are kind of just some examples and answers.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. The property, I guess, kind of has both though. It's the river in the mountains, so it's like
It's both. It's better.
we cheat. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What is your favorite subject in school? So, I
Mine would
completely
have been
thought. What?
mine would have been math.
Math.
Yeah,
Nerd.
I know.
Nerd. That was mine too. I can't say it.
Oh, well, there you go.
What do you do for fun?
I hike.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. That's good.
put a word to it. What do you do for fun?
I don't know. What did I put? Did I even answer that one?
Did you?
I don't know. I
It's
think I
so
left
hard
some
to boil it
blank.
down to one thing.
I don't know if I ever finished it. I think I put walk too. Nicely. I'm so lame.
Yeah. What do you do for fun? I walk.
I walk. What is your favorite animal? That's the next one.
It'd be some sort of fish. I think fish are so cool.
Some sort of a fish.
Yeah,
I
or like
love-
a shark or something.
I don't know. I love that answer because
Or a
it's so.
seagull.
It's absolutely. It's so vague, dude. There's so many different types of some sort of fish. All right, I like it. Okay. What is your favorite season?
Winter.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh. Oh, man.
You better figure that one out quick.
That's a loaded question. A good person.
Lame. I'm just kidding. What is your favorite book or story? Now they're getting harder.
Honest.
These were added later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot for my current favorites. I'm gonna say something by George MacDonald. I'd probably still say The Golden Key. It's my
That's a
favorite
good
of
one.
the past couple years.
Yeah, that's a good one. This one is, what is your favorite movie?
The Godfather. Probably.
Nice. I'm gonna have to rewatch that then. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
some
all
of their
about-
answers are hilarious. Like
What are they?
I didn't think they would have seen that many movies, but then one kid put Dumb and Dumber. It's like,
What?
I know. I'm like, where are they watching these movies? Another one put Hacksaw Ridge. Sapporo put
What?
Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
they apparently
They watch
uh,
a lot there.
Tom and Jerry is another one. It's a Cinderella. Yeah. I guess they get around, they see movies. All right, so number 14. What is your favorite food? That's kind of like similar to meat, I guess. I guess this
Wait,
could be like your
Wait,
favorite.
what was it? You cut out.
What is your favorite food? So I guess like maybe kind of like your favorite meal or something like that,
Gotcha. Man, I don't know.
or just food in general. You don't have to know. We can leave them blank. I don't think I figured.
Oh, that one's hard.
What is your favorite flower? That's the last one.
Ooh, tulip.
Tulip. Nice. I don't even know. I think I know what that looks like. Tulip.
What is yours?
Tulip. I think, what did I put? I have to look. I don't even know. You know, I should know off the top of my head.
Yeah, tulips are they're the ones that like
I think I put lily.
a lily.
But I'm not that familiar with flowers. Like I'd need to know more.
I'm not either, but then I learned that there were here, I'm gonna pull up my screen again. I learned that there are some like these. I just thought that was so look at this.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Oh, the parrot tulip.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a tulip?
Yeah.
Dang.
Parrot tulip.
Wait, look up. Can you
Yeah.
look up?
Look at these. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, that is.
All right, what do you want me to look up?
Look up lilies really quick. I'm trying to think of which ones I used to have growing in my front yard. I thought they were lilies, but they might have been like something like those yellow tulips. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think they were lilies. I think they were actually yellow tulips or something. I do like lilies though. They're very
I
pretty.
like lilies a lot.
There's also that one. Oh wait, what's that one? There was one. I just saw it. The one that was. Scroll down a
This
little
one?
bit more. No, it's towards the right a little bit. Keep going down a little more. There's the one that's like in that one right there. Your cursor's on.
Water lily.
And that was that. Oh yeah, those are in Mulan when she's singing, right?
Oh
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, those are kind of neat. But I don't.
Yeah,
think
those
that's
are
my
pretty.
favorite. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I really love bluebells, so that might actually I might like those better than
Bluebells are very. I don't
lilies.
know. I'd like to know more about flowers. I just don't really know anything.
I don't really either. I don't know.
I just picked the ones with the most colors.
Yeah.
Simple man.
It's the one with the most colors. Yeah, so there's just also this tree. I'll have to find it. I'll send you a picture later, but it's like it's some sort of tree and the bark is like a rainbow color.
Oh, I
Do
saw those in Hawaii.
you know what I'm talking about?
They have a whole rainbow forest in Hawaii. Yeah, I saw.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they called? Rainbow. Oh, rainbow eucalyptus is what it
Yes,
is.
I saw those. They have a whole rainbow eucalyptus forest in Hawaii.
Those are crazy cool looking, man.
They're
They're
a
really
little
neat.
bit more exaggerated in the photos that you see when you Google it.
Yeah,
Than,
bring up a picture real quick if you got
yeah.
share screen.
So like, have you seen pictures of that Rainbow Mountain? I think it's in Guatemala
No.
or something like that. I'll look that up too.
Sorry, I just keep keeping you. I keep getting the weird stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's in
trees.
Peru. It's in Peru. So like,
Oh, whoa! I think I have seen pictures of that before.
yeah. So this is a little hyped up. I think this is what it really actually looks, which is still crazy beautiful, right? It's just a little
Yeah,
oversaturated.
that is really cool.
So this
Have
is
you?
like what? Oh, sorry.
That's a tree, the eucalyptus. So have you seen the what is it? It's in Arizona, which would be a lot closer. It's called like the Candy something, Candy Desert or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Candy Desert.
Let me see. I can't. That's not the name of it. But it's called something.
Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Nah, it might be something like rock. Maybe over on the right there. No, it's usually more colorful. Like, see the one that's more colorful down there? Is that what rock? That says rock
This one?
candy.
Oh, Rock
Maybe that
Candy.
one. I don't know. There's a certain name for it. I don't think that's it though. But oh wait, see there might be some other pictures. So what's the down? No, go back. Bottom left over there. What is that one called? I think that's like more of the pictures I see. It's some.
St.
Oh,
George.
that's in Utah. There is
Wow,
some
that's
place in it.
beautiful.
Yeah, there's one place in it's in Arizona. It looks very similar, but it's called like Candy something, or maybe it's called Rainbow Hills. I don't know. But yeah, there's different places like that as well, where it's like I think that
Rainbow
are
Hills.
there. That one says Rainbow Hills right there, Utah. Uh, I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
What
so
a
we could actually go there, man. We could do it.
look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little oversaturated here, but like that's actually what they look like.
Whoa, dang,
Pretty beautiful.
that's cool. Did you do that hike when you were in Hawaii?
Yeah,
Did
we
you
did.
you did that to the top of the world thing?
Oh
Do you know what
no.
I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. It's like this extreme hike where you go up to like the peak of this mountain. I can't remember what it's called.
We
Uh,
went to
just look up. Oh, no, you do whatever you're doing.
Haleakala.
Oh, what
It's a
whoa,
like an active volcano.
whoa, that's neat.
Yeah, we did that one. It's called Top of the World.
No, I don't know. Oh, maybe. It might be
Oh,
what it's called. I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see. I think it's those stairs right there. Hockey something stairs. Yeah, there. That's it.
Oh, wow, that looks awesome.
That's it. Stairway to Heaven. That's what it's called.
Stairway to Heaven. I would do that in a heartbeat, man.
That
Would
looks
you?
out. Yeah, but that looks miserable. That would take so
It does
long.
look miserable.
It kind of looks like that whole Angel's Landing thing we did, except that looks worse. Like that looks more grueling, I think.
Angel's Landing. Is that the one at the Grand Canyon?
No, that's the one in Utah. Have you not? Did you not?
Oh.
We had to have showed you pictures for that.
No,
Right?
I saw the pictures.
And you're walking like you basically have a chain and you're like walking on this thing and you could just fall off.
It just looks crazy.
Yeah. I wonder how many people actually die from stuff like that. I don't know.
Probably a lot, I'd assume.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. Glad you didn't.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That would have been bad.
I just like I can imagine like I wonder if people actually like try to walk their dogs up there too. Like and they're just like, what if a dog fell? Like that would just be terrible. I can't
That would be
imagine.
cool. I think I'd laugh a little, maybe.
You would? I don't know if I maybe if it's a little dog, like a Maltese.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm picturing. It's like
Okay.
little, like just like shoot.
Like what like on Anchorman when he punts the dog off the bridge.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Okay.
picturing in my head. That's kind of humorous.
That's a funny image. We can go with that one.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Well,
well, I could let you go.
Dude,
Thanks so much for doing this.
talking, man. Sorry
Yeah.
for all the dead zone there when I was.
No,
figuring out
no. I love talking to you because we always just like shoot the breeze and we always dig into something weird and fun
I
and
know.
fascinating.
I'm gonna look up and find my notes on on the Pharisees because I had found some cool connections there, and I'm sorry, I can't
No,
remember.
that's totally fine. If you end up doing any seances, let me know. Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
will.
one other thing before you go. I started watching the show on Amazon Prime called Hellier, and it's about
Okay.
Hellier, Kentucky. Apparently, there's like goblins that were spotted in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Like I would
Isn't
think
that where near where Chris lives?
that's where Chris grew up. Yeah, I'm like, why does I feel like he has to know about this thing? But apparently, there's a whole TV show where it's like ghost hunter thing, like around it. But it's actually the first season. I was like, whatever. But the second season is like actually quite compelling, and it's getting really freaking weird. I'm on the last episode, and they're gonna try to summon the god Pan, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" You guys are like, they just did some sort of weird thing, and the spirit was speaking through this guy, and it claimed to be the Archangel Michael, and I was like, and the guy like almost passed out, like after, because he just said like he said the energy was so intense of like him trying to, because he had a blindfold on and had like headphones on and was listening like static noise, and he said
That's
he
crazy.
yeah, and then so right after that, they're gonna go try to go in a cave and invoke the god Pan. But apparently, like these
Oh
creatures are
my.
people are spotting creatures crawling out of caves and everything, and it's all like right in Kentucky. It's not that
Let's
far.
take a trip sometime,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
So it's
Oh my
Hellier,
gosh.
Hellier and Somerset, I think, are the two cities they're around. But anyway, I can leave you with that. So on the note of doing seances and everything else, we can
And if you do it, don't do it in a circle. Do it in a
a
very
lightning bolt.
special. Do it in a lightning bolt.
All right.
That's the way to go. It's good talking to you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Have a great night. See ya.
You too.